Hello, and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. My name is John Hedge, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore this evening for Together Again. We're really excited to bring this one to you on the Matinée feed, and I've got a really fun table ready to play this game. But you will notice we are missing one familiar face. Unfortunately, Newman has just developed the worst migraine because, well, I poisoned him. And he was stupid enough to drink the thing I sent him. And he's going to die. Yeah. By the time this recording ends, Newman will have died IRL because I will have murdered him and I will then steal everything he has, which is exciting for me. We're going to just put his skin on, take his job, move into his home, adopt his kids, that sort of thing. It's very exciting. Let me introduce you to this wonderful table that I have here. Let's start with Charlie. Do you want to introduce yourself and just give us your character name as well?
Yeah, I'm Charlie Creek. I am the new and improved Newman, and I will be playing Reese Bennet, an ex-Navy diver SEAL.
Jayson.
Hello, I am Jayson. It's great to be back with Miskatonic Playhouse again. I am playing Edmond Doyle, who is a doctor and a pretty broken-hearted man.
David.
Hey, I'm David. You might know me from the Illusion, Horror, and Con, and I'm going to be playing today Stephen Dodds, a very academic herpetologist who is enjoying this beautiful Florida countryside.
And Alandra.
Hi, I'm Alandra Hileman, aka Lady Bedivere. Thrilled to be back, and today I will be playing Heather Lockley, the social worker and sister-in-law, or was sister-in-law, to Edmond.
And I'm going to start out in, unfortunately, a slightly technical way by showing you all this handout, because this is the email that all four of you have received. A little bit of background as you all read it for the audience. 10 years ago in 2014, a 4-year-old boy, Thomas Doyle, disappeared while out playing beside a lake. It was assumed to be the work of a crocodile. An alligator took him. Crocodile. How have I managed to forget which one it is? Which one is the Florida one?
Alligator.
Alligator, thank you very much. He was taken by an alligator. And his mother, Patricia Doyle, and his father, Edmond Doyle, were just completely heartbroken. And Patricia's life basically has fallen apart. Her husband, Edmond, who Jayson is playing, did his best to stand by her for years and years, but eventually there was a divorce and he has moved out. And so why don't you, Edmond, read this email out to our audience?
I certainly can. The subject line is urgent. I need your help. And it is from Patricia. I know this might sound unbelievable, but Tommy is alive. I'm certain of it. And I can prove it. I need you to come to my house as soon as possible. Please be here by 2:30 p.m. on March 27th. I'm not sure of your exact location, but I've already taken care of the arrangements. I've attached a voucher for a plane ticket to this email, which you can use to get on the next available flight. And I'm sure that Edmund's voucher will have the least discount compared to everyone else's. I know I should have let this go, but I can't. This time I'm truly sure, and I need your help more than ever. Please, I am begging you, help me with this. I'm desperate. Thank you, Patricia Doyle.
Now, Stephen, when you receive this email, you're really you're trying to remember all the details because you've heard it in passing. You've talked with Patricia a little bit about this, but it's all kind of a blur. And so you go and look up the original newspaper clipping that you still have, which is handout 1. And would you just sort of read that out for our audience as well, just to kind of help them understand what on earth has happened?
Sure. Boy snatched by alligator at Florida resort. Orlando, Florida, April 1st, 2014. A tragic incident unfolded at the Jeweled Flamingo Resort just outside of Orlando, Florida, on the evening of March 31st when a 4-year-old boy was dragged into a lagoon by an alligator. At very approximately 7:34 p.m., Thomas Doyle, a young visitor from Indiana, left his mother's side and began playing near the water's edge. Patricia and Edmond Doyle, who were distracted as they were packing to head home, did not notice Thomas go towards the water. They were only alerted by Thomas's disappearance when Thomas failed to respond to their calls. When they searched the beach, they discovered ripped clothes and blood near sand toys. A search party was soon dispatched. It was concluded that an alligator snatched Thomas Doyle and drug him deep into the lake. The resort, which has been a popular destination for families, is currently closed for investigation. Florida Wildlife Conservative Commission officials are on site and have confirmed the alligator was located nearby. Hotel staff spotted it by the highway and euthanized it early the following morning. Though no body was recovered, authorities continued to search. In a statement, the resort acting manager, Victoria Munoz, expressed her deepest condolences to the family, stating, "This is a heartbreaking event and our thoughts are with the Doyle family at this incredible, difficult time." Alligator attacks.
Great. Thank you so much. We don't need to read the rest.
Okay.
Really, yeah. So, Stephen, as you sort of read this and you sort of think back on it, it was 10 years ago this happened. The boy would be, what, 14 at this stage? It's crazy. But for whatever reason, all four of you decide that this is serious and you return to Jacksonville, Florida, where, Edmond, you stand outside your old house. And do you all arrive together separately? What's the arrangement here? You all have some reason for knowing each other, some connections. You all are arriving at approximately the same time. Stephen and Heather, are you making your way there? Are you surprised to see each other?
I think so, maybe. It's been a couple of months since we maybe talked or had a quick, "Hey, what's up?" Message exchange. I'm not sure if I'd expect her to be here. I probably didn't even think that far. And I'm pleasantly surprised once I see her.
Agreed. I don't think we coordinated to realize that we were both going to be here.
Yeah.
And so, Reese, you also pull up at the same sort of time as the others all getting out of their car. And the four of you, like almost like a movie, meet standing outside this once grand 2-story house. But now it's just a crumbling relic. There's a car parked in the driveway, but it doesn't look like it's moved in years. Faded sticker on the back of the minivan there shows a stick figure family of 3. The paint on the door is badly sun-faded and chipping in places. And you all said you're being watched. And as the four of you stare at this house, literally before any of you have even exchanged a word, the door bursts open. And Edmond, there she is, Patricia Doyle. At one point, the woman that you thought you would spend the rest of your life with. A frazzled mess now. She's standing there and she's ushering you all inside, frantically trying to push you all, skipping the pleasantries, trying to drive you into her kitchen.
Well, hello to you as well, Patricia.
Jeez, come on, Edmond, inside. Let me show you. I have to show you this. It's come on, into the kitchen. Just trust me. Just come in.
I think Reese would sort of motion to Heather to go in front of him and give her a smile. And he'd give Stephen a bit of a sideways glance and go, "Stephen," and just walk in front of him.
Excellent. And the four of you are now sat beside one of those little countertop tables that sits in the middle of a large kitchen area. Everything in this room screams of someone who is not okay. It's dirty with that mess that has just built up over time and over time and over time, and the whole place just feels like it's just moldy and dusty and seen better days. And what's worse is it looked like it was once loved. It looked like this place was, in Edmond, it was. You put your heart and soul into really creating a beautiful home, and to see it like this, well, how does it feel to see it like this?
So, because of the animosity he still has towards Patricia for the fact they couldn't make it work in the end, ever since arriving impulsively, he's been thinking, oh, that guttering needs cleaning. What's happened here? What's she done to the place? You know, all this sort of evidence stacked against her almost as to how, you know, he's obviously the better person out of the two of them. But he doesn't really say anything, or tries not to, because he knows deep down why. It's not just as simple as because she just can't be asked. It's because she's in such a state, and he's only just crawled out of it himself. So he knows and he understands.
She did, and so she's sitting you all down at this table. She says, "Look!" And it's literally just her iPhone, and she holds it up, and she presses play on it, and the four of you lean in to watch this tiny little video, and it's people partying on a lake. You all do recognize it as the Jeweled Flamingo Hotel, this place from 10 years ago. And the camera pans around, and it's just showing all these partying people. It looks like a really fun, dancey vibe. And then it kind of does this lovely pan of a beautiful, perfect beach. And playing in the sand down by this perfect beach is a little boy, probably around 4 years old. And it just skips past. He goes back to the partying people. And then Patricia rewinds it and plays it again. 4-year-old boy, pause, rewinds it, plays it again, pauses it, zooms in. It's a little grainy. It's not perfect. She says, this was released by the Jeweled Flamingo just 3 days ago. Okay. And look, you can see right there. Tommy is, look, he's there.
Patricia.
It's real. He's there. Look, I promise. This is a real
honey,
video.
Trish, lots of people go on vacation at this time of year. Lots of people take their families on vacation at this time of year. Okay, can we let's take a breath and let's take a look.
So do you take the phone, Heather?
I think if she will let me, I will. And I think I will kind of scrub through that same section again a couple of times, just see if I notice anything else.
Sure. A spot hidden is fine, but if you have anything like photography, that would be really useful right now as well.
I do want to lean in over her shoulder, for more reason than just to watch the movie, but also maybe to get a bit closer to her again.
I think spot hidden is going to be my best option. Oh god, now I have to remember how to roll 20.
Right, the green one.
So the green one, I haven't played Call of Cthulhu in so long. Sorry, everyone.
So you've just clicked the sleight of hand button.
I did. You're right. Good, because I'm worse at that. But I'm still going to fail. That is a 55 on a 45 for my spot hidden.
It's eerie. It's I mean, it's a 4-year-old boy. It's a 4-year-old boy that looks worryingly, scarily like Thomas Doyle, but that makes no sense. He'd be, what, 14, 15 now? No, absolutely. This can't possibly be true. How could he stay young? That makes no sense.
I think I would like to take Patricia's phone and take my phone. I'm going to assume we have the same kind, and I can essentially just airdrop the video to my own phone, and then I will pass the phone back to Patricia. But this way, I have a copy.
So I know, Edmund. I know I sound crazy. I know, I really do. But I need the closure. Okay.
Well, we both need the closure, but I'm sorry to be blunt, but we're not gonna get it. It's been 10 years. How can that be him?
He's there. Look. It was a photo. Just okay. You know what? Fine. Give me one single reason why he would be in this footage. Explain it away, and I'll leave it alone. Explain it, and I'll leave it alone. But look,
well, it can't be him. If they released it 3 days ago, like you said,
yeah,
he's not 4 anymore.
Literally, she pulls out like a booking for the 4 of you to stay at the Jewel Flamingo. She's got the flights down. Look, I have the last of the savings. Like I can pay for you to go down. Just
not happening.
Please just look.
I think Reese is looking around. Is there a photo of the kid anywhere around? Because he's got quite a logical military mind, so he'd like to compare a photograph to the grainy image that we've got.
Do you have photography?
Probably not. I don't.
I'll take a spot hidden.
Yeah.
Slightly less detail with the spot hidden.
No. Miles off.
They look the same. I mean, like, those are, it looks like the same kid.
4-year-olds look the same. Yeah. I think he's heavily invested because being tasked with sort of diving into and searching the lake and not getting a positive outcome, which is something that he's not used to. He would be very much sort of kids this age look the same, but if you want us to do this for your own peace of mind, then fine.
It's like she's got the tickets, she's got the map, she's got all the details, everything's organized. Look, and she's just like, please, look. And I know I'm not okay, and I need people who can look at this rationally. But look at Edmond, it's not that far. Just go down for a few days.
Edmond,
find out why this.
Maybe this would be good for both of you. Maybe this would give you both a chance to put this to rest. Heather's just going to go into full social worker sort of, counselor mode.
It's not me who needs to put it to rest. I've already done that. I've done that over a grueling, slogging 10 years, going in and out of therapy, doing all sorts of shit.
Ed and Steve kind of puts his hand on your shoulder, like to calm down. Listen, how about we go just over here and let's have a quick talk.
Yeah, he obliges.
And he kind of just out of earshot, like, listen, when was the last time you actually talked to Patricia? I mean, she's not in a good state. And I understand. But maybe if only us go, I'm not so sure if she will accept a final closure if we decide that it's not him. If you come with us and you just can talk to her directly and assure her that it's not him from your mouth, I think she might finally come to the same conclusion you did, Ed. I know it was hard for you, and look at her. She's just still clinging on. I know it was hard for you, buddy, but you need to give her some time to get over this too.
Do have a point. And I know she's not doing well. I just wish she'd seek help like I keep telling her.
Well, you had people around. You distance yourself. You don't live with the memories around. I mean,
Yeah.
she's stuck. And if you can do at least something, I know you're divorced, but man, it's not a big deal. And I know it will give you some certainty as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that, actually. Maybe I will get some certainty.
Shall we just cut to Heather? You're trying to calm Patricia down.
I think when Edmond gets pulled aside, I think Heather will kind of hook Patricia in and try to give her a task. Like do that thing where you start like cleaning the kitchen and try to get the other person involved.
Okay.
And just
I was going to say at this time, because Reese has got quite an orderly mind, so he's probably looking around, trying to find cups, probably re-rinsing them out because they haven't been washed properly, trying to find the coffee and stuff like that. So just,
Yeah. Heather will
So
absolutely loop you in on that, and just we're gonna start cleaning. And I think
This
we'll
is
ask.
like actually solid therapeutic work here, guys. Really, really good. And I think as you get Patricia refocused on cleaning up this kitchen and the three of you begin cleaning it up, she does. She calms down. She's taking a few longer breaths. And she begins telling you about this video. She's not been able to let go fully. She knows that. She's aware of that. And she knows it's a bad habit in order to look over the stuff again and again. But sometimes she just keeps an eye on the jeweled flamingo. And this video, it was released just a few days ago by a vlogger named Olivia Muir, who was staying at the Jeweled Flamingo for a weekend. And there used to be this chain link fence that they put up behind in order to like stop any more alligator attacks. And you see him playing at the beach, but the chain link fence is gone. So it's like they've taken the chain link fence down. And the thing is, right? Well, I've been looking a little bit more into things, and 10 years before Tommy disappeared, there was another child. She disappeared too. Her name was Rose. So, and then it seems like there are things that happen every 10 years. And there's a real pattern, and it's been almost 10 years. He disappeared on March 31st. You know, that's 10, and it's March 20th now. That's 10 years. And the last time was 10.
Trish, we've talked about this. You know that things happen in our lives in cycles, and correlation is not causation. Things happen to kids, and it's terrible, and we don't want it to happen. We do our best to prevent it, but sometimes things happen to children, and that's maybe what happened to this Rose. How did you even find out about her? What happened?
It was we had an article somewhere. It was in the news.
Okay. I can look that up later. We don't need to focus on that now, and we'll hand her like another stack of plates. Okay. I think we're all going to just go to the Jeweled Flamingo, and we can see for ourselves. You haven't been back there since it happened, and maybe being there, breathing the air, just seeing how it is now will help you find a way to move to the next thing. You've been caught in the same place for the last 10 years, and that's not good for you. You deserve to have a life, to move on.
As all of this is going on, Reese, can I get a listen roll from you? You were saying you had that orderly mind.
no, that's a fail, I'm afraid. 36 over 25.
You have made some very, very clean plates.
I think I think he was running the tap, and this is bringing memories back for him. So I think sort of the water running and the sink filling and this discussion going on in the background, he's probably zoned out a little bit to the failure of the past as far as he's concerned.
Okay. And so I think we're just going to, for time, snap cut to the drive down to the Jeweled Flamingo. It's not too far from Jacksonville, but it is a good few hours drive. Patricia is joining you tomorrow, but the four of you have, for some reason, agreed to share car down. Who is driving?
I think Reese would drive.
Yeah, I don't think there was a discussion.
Yeah, I think he opened the door sort of for Heather to get in, blatantly left Stephen's door and walked past it. And yeah, just purposely got in the driver's seat. Yeah.
Well, is Edmond in a cage on the top or something?
Slept in the boot.
Yeah, no, he will have opened the door for Edmond as well. Probably opened the door for Heather to sit in the front with him and the other two in the back, but obviously quite blank Stephen. And I think you would notice before he drives off that he stashes his 22 automatic in the glove box of the car because he doesn't want it on him while he's driving, sort of thing. If there's going to be alligators.
It is Thursday, March 28th, 2024. And as you drive down Route 441, you turn off towards the hotel and you see the big, big sign that says, "Welcome to the Jeweled Flamingo." The sign, of course, is in the shape of a flamingo with its feathers extended into a large plume. And the whole thing is made from this iridescent stone that shimmers in the sunlight. As you turn onto this road, you're greeted by a large 4-story hotel. It's painted salmon pink. Behind it, a large body of water surrounds the hotel. There are flamingos milling around the water's edge. And notably, this huge stage is being constructed just towards the beach. There's people installing lights, large sound system is being thrown up. And as you all come in, just give me a spot hidden to determine who notices what for me.
That's a success for Stephen.
And a success for Edmond.
And certainly not for Reese.
Fail for Heather as well.
Reese and Heather are having a lovely chat in the front, but the boys in the back. Edmond, there was this fence that you made a big deal about the fact that they should put a fence up so that it never happened to anyone else ever again. There was a period you went through where the idea of it never happening to anyone ever again was like a big driver for you. And that fence has been taken down to put this stage in place. So there's free access to the water from the hotel, which isn't meant to happen anymore. Stephen, you kind of like notice it because Edmond points it out to you in the two of you chat about it. And you just, the fence is gone. As you sort of drive up, park the car, the four of you come out, heading in to the main hotel. Standing behind the hotel reception is a young woman who, if you look at the roll 20s, the second photo, her name, Victoria, let's try to not picture her name, Munwez. You've probably all encountered her before. She has been there for quite a long time. So her face rings a bell to you, but you don't necessarily remember her name as you come up to the check-in desk. Hello. Welcome to the Jeweled Flamingo. Do you have reservations?
Yes, I believe we are all under the Doyle party.
Royal party, yes. Sorry. And like about halfway through giving you the keys, you can almost see it in her eyes, like the recognition. Oh. And then like she suddenly regains the composure. It is an absolute pleasure to have you. 4 single rooms. They're on the 2nd floor. Here are your keys. Now it is coming up to spring break. So there will be a lot, the hotel will be very, very busy. There's a lot of people coming. We are nearly fully booked, which is very exciting. But just to warn you, if there is anything you need and there isn't a member of staff available, there will always be someone here at reception and you can come down and speak to us at any point in time. But just do bear with us because it will be just a little bit busy. Now, breakfast is on the top floor between 6 and 9. And the rest of the hotel is yours to explore. Please do enjoy and have a most wonderful time here at the Jeweled Flamingo.
Thank you
I
very
think just
much.
Preemptively, before Edmond says anything, I just put my hand again on his shoulder to like, just calm down, just ignore, take the key, and let's go.
As you do so, a man walks in. And he's a young man. He's got long blonde hair. He's speaking on his phone, and he's got like 3 or 4 bags that he's kind of dragging along on various things. And he's kind of got one in his hand. And as he does, he looks up at the 4 of you and give me who's got the lowest luck.
Good question.
Well, I've got 35, which is pretty low.
Oh, probably you then.
It's
Me.
you.
Okay. Reese, he looks up at you and like recognition comes into his face and he just dumps the bag he's holding onto you and then he hands this one and he says, and there are 4 more out there. If you can just get them all up to my room, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. And he just like walks up to the reception and begins chatting away to Victoria, and you are left holding this man's bag.
I think he would slightly smirk, but then walk up to the reception behind him, tap him on the shoulder, and drop the bag at his
What?
feet. I think you've made a mistake.
No, I need that upstairs.
But then you
Is this
better
the sort of
carry
help
it.
I get here? Come on. I thought this was meant to be a fancy rest. And then like Victoria is just like, oh, I am so sorry. No, he doesn't work here. I will get your bags. I am so sorry. And like this guy just gives you like just one hell of a dirty look. And he turns back and says, well, I need all my bags up into my suite. Absolutely fantastic as soon as possible.
Even though Stephen has had his hand on my shoulder, I'm going to get one word into this guy because I hate him possibly even more than Victoria, and just say to him, if you want assistance with your bags, go ask the alligators. Before walking off.
Give me just throw an intimidate roll in there for me. Just Jayson, just give me
all 15 of it.
I'd say you were very
Unsurprisingly, it's a
intimidating.
massive fail. 72 over 15.
Okay. The line still lands. It's a good line. There's just going to be no, benefit-ish. It is sort of mid-afternoon, wandering towards evening. You are all checked in. You've found your rooms. You have the hotel to explore. You have a late afternoon and early evening. And you, I guess, want to get to the bottom of all of this. You kind of have enough time for one early afternoon action and one evening nighttime action here before you're probably going to head off to sleep. And we'll kind of do like a bit of a prologue and exploration of the hotel. This is basically a giant sandbox. So you guys have the ability to go anywhere and do anything and explore the space, ask questions. There are some pretty simple maps in the Roll20 for you to kind of get a general idea of the area around here. Let me know if you'd like to do something separately together, maybe even have a little discussion, decide on tactics.
I think Reese would probably suggest to Heather showing the receptionist the video to see if she maybe remembered the family or the kid or when this was?
I think Heather would agree with that, but will caution, like, let's wait for a time when she's not too busy. We're going to have a lot of people coming through, checking in. Probably also good to just take a look around as we wander the grounds, because if this is a family that's taking their spring break week, they might still be here since school won't be back until next Monday for most of the schools in the area. I do have a very inane but hopefully hilarious question that I need to ask before we all disperse, though. What is the configuration of our rooms? Are they all in a row? Are they like 2 and 2 facing each other?
Do you what's the thing that's going to give you the most joy here?
The thing that will give me the most joy is if it's 2 and 2 facing each other, and Heather makes a clear certainty that she and Stephen are on one side with conjoining doors, and leaves the other 2 to fend for themselves.
Conjoining doors. Wow.
Because a lot of times the hotels have a conjoining door. So if there's a pair that look like they're going to have conjoined doors, she's going to make sure that she and Stephen are in that pair.
Do I make this a luck roll, or is it just too good to allow? I'm just going to really do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you bonus down your luck roll, because I kind of want it to happen, but I don't need it to happen.
Ooh. Great.
That's one of the rarest rolls in Call of Cthulhu.
That's a flat 67 on the luck. What do I need to do for my bonus die?
If you press the other button, the other common button, you'd have gotten the bonus die. Just roll that again.
Great. That one's a success.
You almost end up with Reese in the other room. It's pretty close, but it's just, you manage to just like, oh, I forgot, drop out, switch over. And then you're like, oh, Edmond, actually, you're in the other room because I need to sleep in this one because I need light in the morning. So I want to sleep in this. And Edmond allows it. And so you have set it up such that you have the conjoining door beside Stephen.
Wonderful. It's mostly that Heather doesn't want a conjoining door with either of the other 2.
Okay. I'm just going to give you all a moment to decide what your game plan is.
I think one of the first things that Steve wants to do, after obviously being very happy that he has the same conjoining room with Heather, is indeed go down to Victoria, because before this escalates, he wants an explanation why the fence is gone, to ease Edmond into this. Ideally, I think he would go as soon as he gets to the room and go down again. If Edmond comes with, he's not gonna like stop him, but like, yeah, ideally he wants to go before him, but totally fine if Edmond comes along, because I think you also have the urging resistance for that.
Yeah, I think Edmond would maybe try and distract himself from the subject of the fence, especially again since you kind of calm me down about it, discourage me away from it. And also, given your profession, I think he would assume that you would maybe inquire about it separately. I think so long as Heather brought everyone up to speed about what Patricia told you back in the house, I think he'd be keen to try and get hold of this Olivia, this person who did she just like upload the video to general socials? This person? Or? Yes.
So give me. No, I'll let you have this. You search the name on Instagram, you find the reels, you find she was here for about a week. She posted a whole bunch of stuff. Some of them were posted with the Bejeweled Flamingos, so like she's clearly doing some work with them, and there are all these promo shots, people dancing and laughing. And it looks like there's 2 things you can find out. One, You can DM her and ask her about it, and she's probably going to get back to you at some point. You hope. And the other is that there's going to be some big spring break event in 2 days.
Yeah.
So you're going to DM her and ask her these questions just about the video. What do you say to her?
Yeah. He's going in at this point, having done a general study, fairly sure that it was just simply luck. That, she happened to film, a group of people. One of them happened to look like 4-year-old Tommy, but obviously isn't, because it's 10 years later. He's still trying to think really rationally about this. So he's going to go in just saying, hi, Olivia, you don't know me, but I'm currently at the hotel trying to find closure for my missing son who died here. My wife is strong, I kind of explain it quite pragmatically. And my questions to her are, I think, what were these promo shots for exactly? Like, what's her true motive behind them? Again, if it's just, it's just because it's people and they look good, then yeah, fine. And I think also, did you see a young boy who looked like XYZ, and describe what Tommy would have looked like at age 4?
Give me, I think it's a persuade roll.
Persuade roll.
You're going to get something either way, but there will be more potential information.
Could I try and push this roll?
Tell me more.
I think with the initial fail, there would just be no answer for a while, or maybe it looks like she's typing back, but then it goes off, or she goes offline. So I think he would just try and info dump some more, describe Tommy's appearance in more detail, where he was standing in this video. If he has access to the video from Heather, then also he will share that back with her. So it's like, just all this information at her, message after message after message.
It's always known to work really, really well online.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah. All right, give me that.
I accepted it this time round with a 5 under 40. Maybe she was so annoyed with the notifications that she thought that she should shut me up by replying.
We're going to come back to that. Let's pivot to Steve coming downstairs, and you manage to catch Victoria at a moment where she isn't checking someone in. And she smells
Okay.
She walks up to her.
Good day, Miss Munoz. I do have a quick question. It's regarding the security fence that was initially put up around the lake. I've noticed when we drove to the hotel that sections are missing. What's the reason for that?
Oh, yes. Well, so sadly, 10 years ago, a young boy lost his life to an alligator attack, and so we put the fences up. But the good news is we have been working with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and the EPA. I've been able to hire on some extra security because this event has been such a sellout success. And they have determined that we don't need to keep the fences up entirely, as there do not appear to be any alligators presently living in the water. So it's safe, which is wonderful. And really, really exciting for us because we can take the fence back. The majority of the lake is still fenced off, which means no alligators will be able to enter. But we can open up this bit and people can use the lake and swim in it, which is really exciting for spring break.
Fantastic.
You can take a
Fantastic.
psychology roll there.
Yeah. He has like the absolute fakest smile on him at that moment too. Yeah, I'm not the greatest in an... You know what? I'm going to spend 14 points of luck to make that a success.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Nah, she's lying to you. You don't know which bit she's lying to you about, but this woman has just told you a barefaced lie.
Yeah. Well, interesting. So since you got clearance from AIRPA and the Wildlife and Conservation Commission, you wouldn't have happened the paperwork at hand, because I'm actually working for the University of Florida, and we're currently in revision for certain statutes passed by by the commissions under the new administration and changes of policies, and it would actually help you in great advance if I can already take a look at those to just ensure that you're compliant with the upcoming changes for next year.
Beautiful, but it is also a fast talk.
I know. Sometimes you got to try. Holy shit, that's an extreme success.
And that is how you find yourself ushered into Victoria's office. Explained that she doesn't have the relevant paperwork at hand. She never actually got the paperwork through, but she is up, and so she sits you down. She's like, "I'm really sorry. I don't have the paperwork, but I promise you that the lake is safe. There's no alligators living in the lake, and you can go into it, and it's totally fine." And she's just like basically begging you not to call the police on her, because she's just got the biggest event coming up, and it's going to be absolutely safe. And there's not been any alligator attacks in 10 years. There's not been any alligators spotted. There's definitely no alligators. She promises you there's no alligators. And it's all going to be totally fine. And she's got this big event, and she's going to make a lot of money, and it just can't go wrong. Please, 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 please. Just don't say anything just for this weekend. I promise I'll start the paperwork next week. I promise.
I wanted to say before I enter the office, he would have turned on his phone to recording, because he had a feeling that she would say something, and just leave it in his pocket to record the whole conversation in the hope that he would get some juicy bits.
You did.
Fantastic. Then I will say that I will consider, I will walk the perimeter and make my assessment myself. We'll talk she also needs to give me a list of a few of her staff who manages security and kind of the setup at the lake. And I will talk to them in person. And I will make my judgment in about a day or so.
Nods. And she gives you the details of her head of security, whose name is Ernesto Sanchez. And she gives you his contact details. He is actually, he's on site. He'll be down at the fence right now if you want to speak to him.
You know what? I will indeed. You just sit tight, and I hope for your best that there's truly no attack or anything happen in the next couple of days. And with that, he kind of just gets up and leaves.
And you would walk straight into Reese, who's standing outside the office. He wasn't intending to follow you, but he happened to leave the room as you was turning the corner, and he looks at you, and he just looks you in the eye and says, "If you'd have been so thorough and conscientious 10 years ago, we wouldn't be on this bullshit hunt for a ghost of a kid, would we?"
He looks at him with absolute disgust and dislike. Thinks about saying something, but then just kind of takes a deep breath in and doesn't reply and walks past you.
He walks alongside you. I'm going to tag along.
Okay, let's cut to Heather. Heather, what are you up to?
After encouraging Reese to go check in at the front desk as he had suggested, I think Heather actually is going to go maybe walk. I think Heather's going to go walk toward the place in the video, like try to go do and like stand with the video and like look at the beach in the video and see if she notices anything. And while she's making her way to that spot. Because I believe, did we establish that spot looks like it is in the same area where Tommy was known to have disappeared? Or am I misremembering that? Or is it just on the shore somewhere?
It's a good question. You're not
Okay.
entirely sure, but you think if you go down to the beach, you might be able to figure that out.
Then I'm just going to walk.
Maybe
I'm going
that's
to have
why
like
you're down there.
the screen cap on my phone to try to like match up to the thing. But I also think as I walk, I'm going to do a little like searching on maybe the Jeweled Flamingo's website or on social media and see what I can find out about spring break events. I've clearly seen this guy with all of his gear that was showing up. There's this stage being built. There's like stuff going on, and I want to just see what is publicly available about that, if
Sure.
anything.
You'll get something for the search, but give me a computer use to determine how much
Sure.
detail you can pull out.
Hard success.
Hard success. The Jeweled Flamingo in 2 days is hosting a spring break event, and there is a headline, and the headliner is DJ Boy Yaki. He has almost 1 million followers, and he is a big name in the sort of national DJ circuit. And getting him at this tiny little 4-star hotel in nowhere, Florida, is a big deal. And the stage outside must be for him. And it's him. He's the guy that came in and handed Reese's bag earlier. So it's that young man. And he's maybe, with hard success, he's 28. With a hard
Exactly my
success-
type, apparently.
With hard success, he's 28. And actually, you can open up Tinder and he's the first thing you see. So he's very much. And I think with that hard success, I'm going to give you one little bit more piece of information, which is that he hates being wet. I think it's an offhand comment that he's made in a recent vlog that he posted about things. He just 2 truths and a lie, and one of them was he hates being wet.
Interesting. Gonna do a TikTok deep dive on that later after I find this beach spot.
Okay, so you're down on the beach and you're trying to figure out where the thing is. The first thing that you're really obvious is that the main beach area, there's this big stage and it's going out into the water. And there are a lot of people helping build this thing. Like, you've seen basically Victoria in the giant 4-story hotel by herself. But down here, there's 15 people working to build this giant stage. It's a big tech crew. And as you sort of get down to the beach and you walk along it and you try and sort of triangulate, you find this spot. You're trying to remember, you yourself can't remember exactly where he went missing from, but you're down by the water. And you forgot how beautiful it was. The water has this sheen to it. It's like, imagine an oily surface, but without the gunk. It's like there's something mineral in the water, you heard, that gives it this little sheen, and the flamingos have it, and the plants and the trees have it. Just everything here is just beautiful. And as you stare out at the water, I just like a power roll from you, Heather.
This is fine. That's a fail. It's a
You actually rolled a
79 on a
dex roll
60.
there.
Oh, god darn it.
But you still did fail. You have just this undeniable urge to dive into the water. And so you begin getting ready to go and just jump into the water. Just as Reese and Stephen begin wandering down towards the water's edge, where the two of you see Heather about to jump into the water.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think Reese would shout out, Heather, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I think Steve as well, like he was about to confront Reese and it's just like about to say something and then kind of just looks in the expression of Reese and kind of follows and shit, and he starts darting for her.
Give me a dex roll, Steve.
Oh boy. Oh no, actually, not too sure. Well, tying your shoes would help, so that's a fail.
I do think Reese would be moving as well, though.
Give me that dex roll as well. I think it'd be even funnier. There we go. Yes.
There we go.
Reese gets there first, and Heather, you shake yourself awake as you suddenly realize you are in Reese's arms, and your shoes are wet because you stepped into the water, and then Reese has just kind of yanked you back onto dry land.
Looks at Stephen and says, "Plate to the table."
What? I'm sorry. I will kind of like extricate herself and like a little bit of that shaking the head and trying to like remember what I was doing.
Why the hell would you voluntarily go in that water?
What? Sorry? Go in what water? Oh. What?
Are you okay, Heather?
I'm fine. I was just I was trying to see if I could find the location of the video, and I was just looking at the scenery. I haven't been to back to Florida in 8 years.
Now, as a diver, none of my skills reflect this, unfortunately. But is there something unusual to the water to Reese?
So, in terms of now, or in terms of when you were exploring it 10 years ago?
Yeah, it probably hasn't looked at it too closely now. 10 years ago, was there something that bugged him about it?
The water it's an unusual beauty spot. The water is not like any other water you've swum through before. The way the light glistens off it is magical. You don't have an explanation for why it's not a thing that you've studied, that you've not, taken samples and sent them off to a lab or anything, but it's very, very pretty, and it doesn't appear to do you any damage. You spend upwards of 80 hours in this water over the course of a couple of months, and you were fine. But you got quite close to the water there, so I'm going to take that power roll from you as well.
Nope. 79 over 50.
Here's what I think happens. I think Heather's trying to extricate herself from you, and you're kind of holding her because she was about to follow, because she fell backwards out of the water, and you basically just let her go, and Heather almost drops to the ground, and then you just begin walking towards the water yourself.
I'm not expecting any help from Steve, am I?
Well, I think he's just perplexed and helps Heather up and just looks at you kind of confused. Reese, hello. Reese? He doesn't approach you, but
you can hear them.
You
can hear them. You can reply to them. You had this urge to get in the water.
Yeah, not now.
Reese, you are. What are you doing?
You hear. It's almost like you hear your mother's voice calling out from you from the water, Reese. And you just want to go out and swim out there, and it would be like reconnecting with your mother. It would just be beautiful and a wonderful moment.
I've dived all over the world, and this water's just different. Just want to get back in it.
I will kind of approach you from the back and kind of, I'm possibly going to regret this, but like pat you on the shoulder, like a bit strongly, kind of, hey, and try to shake you awake or like aware basically of the situation. Listen, I know we're here for a search, but like, I've seen better search patterns. Some that actually lead somewhere else and to find some data and evidence, not like just cold feet.
I hope that would bring Reese out of it, because this is the sore point here. So I'm hoping.
Roll that power roll again.
Extreme. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think he instantly snaps round and it's like, you want to talk to me about following a plan?
All right.
And I think he'll push him backwards.
Cut. To Edmond Doyle, who is lying on his phone in his room, scrolling Instagram. And she gets back to you. Oh my God, that sounds so terrible. That's so horrible to lose your child like that. I can't imagine it. I'm going to do everything I can to help. What I'll do is I'll scrub through the rest of the footage and see if I can find anything else. I don't remember many details. It was just the shot of the boy. He just looked really cute and happy down playing by the beach. I don't remember him being with any families or where he was from, though. Sorry. But yeah, I definitely got quite a lot of footage from him. I've pulled up one of the stills and I've gotten it as good quality as I can from the raw footage. And she attaches a photograph. And Edmond, that child doesn't just look like Tommy. You would swear on anything that you've just been sent a photo of your 4-year-old child. Just take a sand roll there.
Yep, that seems about right. Sounds.
The cool part's the simplest and yet most impactful sand roll I've asked for in a while.
Edmond is in full denial. He locks his phone and throws it towards the pillow.
1b2 sand loss, I think.
1b2.
And I think that probably is a really good way for us to pull you back into this stupidity. So you hear some arguments and raised voices coming from outside the back of the hotel, and you look out of your window and Reese, Stephen, what's going on?
I think Reese is absolutely laying in his sort of
physically or verbally?
I think he's pushing, but a lot of it's verbal. It's like, if you'd have followed the mapping, I was following the grids. It was you that started to go off to want to look in different places. If we'd have done it systematically, would have found that kid's body.
I always admired how you are in your conclusions. Even the evidence hasn't caught up with you yet. It's unbelievable how you just seem to see things where there are none. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to have someone with your operational clarity on the team. Not everyone can think in a straight line like you. It's pretty amazing.
Well, straight lines are the quickest way from A to B, aren't they?
All right. We don't, you know what? This is 10 years ago and we cannot change what happened 10 years ago. So maybe we could focus back in on what we're trying to do now. And Heather is trying to physically get between them.
Keeper, can I open the window of my room quite fully, or is it one of those where it just kind of opens up just a tiny bit? Because if you can open it fully,
I think it's one of those tiny balconies. You know, those like 30 centimeter of balcony.
Okay.
So you can slide the door to the side.
Yeah. Okay. Totally. And he's gonna try and lean over a little bit so he can actually see them properly. And he's just like, "What's going on? What are you arguing about now?"
I think Reese will go quiet because he feels quite a bit of guilt. So when Edmond sort of opens and shouts out, he will sort of go quiet and just turn his back on the other two and start walking back towards the foyer.
We're just trying to gather some information, and kind of look at Steve with a little bit of the like, what the hell was that face?
He just shakes himself and looks up at Edmond. Sorry, buddy. Is everything okay? We just had a bit of issues with directions. Are you okay?
Well, obviously not. Look, just the quicker we can sort this out, the quicker we can get out of here. So please just help me on that.
Oh, of course. We'll be right up.
Thank you.
Let's cut forward a little bit. You have dinner in the restaurant up above. I think Reese is sitting at a different table.
Yeah.
And it is getting a little bit later, and we have basically an action that you can all take this evening before we move on to day 2. Tell me what each of you would like to achieve this evening. I know, Stephen, obviously you have Ernesto Sanchez to find. You've not found him yet, but yeah, we're gonna give you one more action before we move into day 2. I'm going to try and make this go a little faster than the previous action, because that was some beautiful PvP. But
yeah,
I
think Reese, the one thing he has done is he's retrieved his 22. He's now carrying that concealed, and I think because he will have noticed now that the section of fences is missing, so he's going to try and find the security, as they term it, and see what measures they actually have in place.
Right, I like this. So let's flip around what happened last time. So both you and Stephen are looking for him, Ernesto, but you're going to find him first this time.
Which would quite please Reese, yeah. I think he probably leaves dinner early so he can go and do that, so he knows Stephen's preoccupied with something else. So yeah.
Yeah, Stephen and Heather are having a deep, long conversation.
Actually, I'm actually having, because I think I only tell Heather while we're at the bar or somewhere about the fake reasons and the hotel manager's kind of arguments about why the fence was taken down, because I'm trying to get her feedback on if I should tell that to Ed or if I should make something up, because I feel like if I tell him that, he will go apeshit, and I don't want him. I want him to stay calm and reasonable with us, because I know this upsets him more than us.
I think with that knowledge, I think Heather is going to recommend that let's not tell him tonight. Go talk to the security guy, because you had wanted to do that anyway. See if you get any more information from him, or maybe if you want to use your contacts through the university to see if they have any reports or anything that would verify this alligator or lack thereof information. And Heather will offer to basically go just see what Edmond wants to do for the evening and sort of buddy up with him, so that she can try to get a little bit of a read on like where he's at mentally now that we're here and experiencing it again. So a little bit of a high five split to go game plan this.
And that is how, Edmund, you find Heather sitting down beside you. The two of you disagree about an awful lot of things, but she appears to be being friendly right now.
Yeah. I think at this stage in the evening as well, Edmund would have had a couple of whiskeys. So he's also feeling a bit moping, especially after what he saw earlier today on his phone. And he also kind of hopes that you're going to be open-minded and friendly back. But he does sort of say to you, I know that we don't get on, but you're here, and that's something. You you know what Tommy looked like. Of course you do. And he gets out his phone and brings up full screen this image. I managed to get in contact with Olivia, and this is what she said back. Amongst other things, she is going to help, but that can't be. That can't be him.
We can look at this rationally and try to explain things away. You know, maybe this is some horrible joke. Someone found a picture of Tommy from back when he first disappeared. And I mean, you've seen the advances they've made these days with Photoshop and AI generation. Maybe someone is trying to do some terrible prank. I don't know why. I don't know what good that would do. If anything, I would think bringing it up would be worse for the resort. But it could be something as simple as some influencer hoping that they're going to be able to use this for content. Or maybe it's just been so long that none of us quite remember anymore. But let's go in with an open mind. Let's ask around. Let's walk the grounds. Let's see if somebody knows something we don't, right?
Yeah, maybe there's some staff here who were also on shift that day. But I want to believe it's AI. I really do. But this Olivia person seems genuine. Why? I don't know who she is. Patricia's never mentioned her. Like, what beef would she have with us?
Who
Like you
knows?
said, what's the point? So she said she got a few shots of this kid. Doesn't know who he is, but just that he looked cute, nice, you know, suitable for spring rape type photos and things. So, but she mentioned the parents as well. She mentioned something about the parents, just in passing.
You said she didn't see any parents.
Oh, she didn't see any parents. In that case, I'll rephrase. She didn't see any parents.
Well, do you want to go try to talk to some of the staff, see if they saw this kid, remember him? Do you want to go walk around, see who's out on the beach tonight? Whatever you think would be best for you right now, so that we can all be in a good headspace in the morning when we tackle this again.
That's actually a point. It was a sort of a buffet dinner, and there's one staff member at the bar, but that's it.
I think then at that point, given that it's dawned on us that there's like hardly anybody here, Edmond will lean back over the bar, ask for another drink, and says, where's the rest of your staff? I mean, I know it's sort of quiet, but there's going to be a rush later, isn't there?
Yeah, they're sorry, 1 second. And she's just wandering around. She's grabbing the hand. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's rushed. We are short-staffed. Apparently a whole bunch of people quit. I don't know, and then most of the maintenance crew is down building the stage. So, yeah. 1 second. Yes, sir. That'll be 12:44. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. It's busy, and there's not many of us, and we have people off sick and people who have quit, and I don't know why, and we don't have any new staff coming in, but if we did, we'd have to train them.
That's really...
Don't worry about it, sir. I can get you whatever you need, and we're on all night, so just let us know.
You're doing
Yeah,
a great
sure.
job.
So you said there was some maintenance crew down by the lake, as in people who work here or with that stage event thing?
Pretty much the entire cleaning staff are working on the stage. But we'll get it all done. Don't you worry.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Maybe we'll pop back here when it's a bit quieter. And his intention is basically, if he doesn't get much of what he wants from the people down at the lake, then maybe the bartender will have seen something. But also, they're obviously rammed. So everyone's
And
going to
it
leave
is,
it.
it's not full yet, but the bar is busy. Stephen so Reese, you are looking for this man, Ernesto Sanchez. How were you finding him? What's your plan here?
I'm presuming that a security office would probably be on the first floor, so he will have a look around. If not, he will ask at the reception desk.
Navigation. Let's have a navigation roll.
Yeah, let's see how good your navigation is, Reese. As good as your search pattern?
Amazing. No, that's a fail and a half.
That's what I thought.
He will make his way to the reception and ask.
You are directed to where Ernesto Sanchez is, but with that failure, I'm going to give Stephen a chance to beat you to the punch. Stephen, you have this man's number.
Yeah, I call him up. Basically, bring up and see if he picks up and say that...
Hello?
Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Dodds from the University of Florida. I'm here on behalf of EPA, and I talked to your manager earlier. The point is, we need to talk regarding the security of the lake perimeter due to the upcoming spring break festivals. And we have a slight concern regarding potential animal attacks again here at the lake. Would you have 5 minutes to talk?
Yes, I'm here till 10.
Where can I find you?
I'm in the security office. And now, of course, we're going to see that beautiful, he tells you the security office, that beautiful moment of Reese and Stephen approaching from opposing positions and arriving together at the security office. I'm just making a bad rom-com at this point, am I?
Reese won't say anything. He'll just give Stephen a look and understand the situation, but he won't make reference to it.
Yeah, he kind of just looks at his boots to see if they are still wet or if he changed them, and kind of just smiles. But then also kind of gets his composure because focus on the mission. And I think there's a brief moment where like there's this, look between us of like, okay, like we do this now properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think there's a mutual understanding at this point. This isn't rivalry or history. This is just fact gathering now. So for the next 10 minutes, we can be cordial.
And I even open the door for him or knock as a sign or gesture of good faith.
This man is sitting behind a desk, just sky high with paperwork, typing on a slightly out of date laptop. As you come in, he's just got the most impressive mustache. I cannot overemphasize. There's a picture of him in the Roll20. How incredibly beautiful this man's mustache is. And he says, "Hey, come in. Please take a seat. You said you were here from the EPA?
University of Florida. This is a colleague of mine. We're just here regarding your security measures for the upcoming festival. We noticed that the fence is down in certain sections, and we just wanted to ensure that you've taken precautions for potential alligator attacks and or other wildlife that could be entering the area.
Yes, absolutely. So the for the last 10 years, we've had a fence go around the entire lake, and there have been no alligator attacks for 10 years. And so my manager, Miss Manoise, she said that the best thing to do would be to take down a section. So we have taken down the section, but we have blocked off entrance from only the hotel. And so guests can now access the lake, but we keep the rest of the perimeter guarded.
And what do you think of that?
I am happy to make sure that this event is going to go off with Absolutely no problems. And I am dedicated to making sure the safety of everyone that attends this beautiful hotel is paramount. We don't think there'll be any issues whatsoever. We're very excited to have just a really great spring break. I don't even think you need to roll.
It's very
He's security. He's quite conservative. He doesn't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But it's his job to make it happen.
Okay.
It's very obvious.
Okay, so what are your measures? You got people down on the fence?
We have a security team of 6 people who will be keeping an eye on the lake and the fence at all times. And then, as I said, we just haven't had we're monitoring the lake for any sign of alligators. And if we do, we have evacuation processes. And we also have a net set up. So if we do see any alligator activity, we can drop the net down, keep the alligators away from the people, even if they are in the water.
How long have you been here?
I've been here 15 years now.
Okay. So is your predecessor when kid 20 years ago went missing?
20 years ago.
Well, yeah, both 20 and 10.
I don't know much about back in those days. My predecessor was a lovely man whose name I don't recall right now.
Do you not keep records of any kind of alligator attacks?
Yeah, well, the last alligator attack was very, very sad event. Was around 10 years ago. A young boy lost his life, which is why the fence ended up getting put up in the first place. But we've had 10 years without any incidents, which is obviously time to revisit policy, you know?
Mr. Sanchez, you keep repeating that there were no incidences. My question on this point is, did you actually allow anyone to be in the lake, to be exposed to potential dangers in the first place, or did you just not encounter any alligators or attacks of wildlife due to the full enclosure of the lake? When was the last time that you yourself were in the lake swimming? Because as far as I have heard, you will allow people to swim in the lake. And I just wanted to know if you would be willing yourself to go for a swim later tonight, for example.
Oh, I think I'm going to take a persuade roll there. I like this. It's interesting to me. Yeah, okay.
Persuade. Oh my God, that's not gonna... Ooh, I will spend 4 points of luck to make that a success.
If that's
and even
what it
more,
takes,
actually, even more if needed, but definitely.
I think no. If that's what would make you feel safe, then we can arrange. I mean, it's a little late now, but in the morning, I'm happy to take a dip if that's what it will take for you to see that the lake is safe. He looks a little nervous and confused, but happy to go above and beyond if required.
I definitely want to choose a time that I know from my field of research that is the most likely time that alligators would be active and searching for prey.
I think that's morning. If anyone knows more about alligators than me, please tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's say in this universe it's morning.
Is there a gun cabinet in this office?
Yes.
Yeah. So they presumably have got rifles or something.
That would make sense to you, yeah.
Okay. Is it properly secured?
It is secured perfectly. It is secured exactly how a gun cabinet is meant to be secured, with a degree of precision and cleanliness that is very impressive.
Okay. He's just going to note that, just in case.
And let's just cut forward a little bit now to the 4 of you laying down and resting in either in your beds or perhaps someone else's bed. And we're going to just bring the camera around to Edmond, lying in bed, can't really sleep, gets to 11, gets to 12, and about 1 o'clock, your phone buzzes.
Okay. Yeah, I've been periodically looking at the picture on my phone anyway, going down a bit of a mental rabbit hole, trying to put it down and da. So yeah, he gets his phone back up and assumes it's Olivia, but
It's a DM from Olivia.
Mhm.
It's a short video. Some B-roll that she shot, but she's cut it down for you.
Okay.
This little boy that you would swear plain was Tommy, walking away from the camera, heading around, seems to be heading towards the boathouse.
Okay.
Now, the boathouse is around the other side of the lake, which is where Tommy was lost. But basically, you go down south and you go up, and then you come the east side of the lake, and that's where you find the boathouse, and that is where this piece of footage is seen. And you just stare at it and you watch it 30, 40, 50 times, and you just stare at it. Give me a constitution roll.
Oh yeah, let's see. It's a critical.
You watch it again and again and again, and the reaction isn't one of panic or fear or anything, but it's almost like a weight is lifted off of your chest. It's just not going crazy. You're not going crazy. It's real. And you fall into actually one of the best night's sleeps you've had in an awful long time.
I'll take it.
And you're the first up in the morning. You're down to breakfast before everyone else is start. There's a spring in your step.
A spring break.
One
That was
d4
a very
psychic
delayed
damage.
reaction on my part.
Couldn't
Ow.
resist, sorry.
Ow. I'm actually going to call a short break there because it's just a really good time for us to just take a chat. We could take up probably a 5-minute break or so, just so we can all go to loo, refresh ourselves, whatever. Join us back here in 5 minutes for the epic conclusion of this weird rom-com that we appear to be running. Hey, welcome back to this Miskatonic Playhouse stream of the scenario Together Again. We were delighted to discover that the author is actually here with us in chat, chatting away. So if you're listening live, you can just ask questions and determine how badly I'm screwing this up live on air. Day one ended with everyone a little bit concerned and confused by something in the water. And Edmond really struggling with the realization that actually there is something here. And it gave him the best night's sleep of his life. And he is up early, and he's one of the first to breakfast in the morning, up on the 4th floor with the beautiful vistas, the beautiful views of the flamingos in the morning. And there is one solitary staff member trying to get this buffet out, and it is already fairly busy in here, Edmond. The pancake corner is just not even remotely ready. The buffet is half empty and half of the things. It's an absolute mess. You're glad you got here in time because there's some food out at this stage, but you're willing to bet anyone who gets out of bed late is going to miss breakfast.
I mean, they're lost. That's how busy it was last night.
Yes. And as you're sitting there having your early morning coffee, give me a listen roll, just as you sort of listening to the guests around you.
Very nice success, 30 under 35.
A lot of people are complaining of sand and dirt on their sheets and just the general quality of the room just not being what they expected. There's one loud table who are just like, I can't believe this is meant to be a 4-star hotel. This is ridiculous. And just a lot of people not happy with dirt, with food, with service, just with the vibe of everything. The other thing you notice is lots of young groups of people. So you're one of the older people here, and you're not, you're not exactly a grandpa. A
47.
lot of people. Yeah, exactly. And you feel old sitting in this room. Everyone is in their early 20s. There are a lot of college students around different tables. There's an awful lot of baseball caps and basketball shorts, and people already in their bikinis and bikinis and swim shorts. And the pool looks like it's going to be in heavy use today.
Yeah.
And the rest of you come down for breakfast, or come up for breakfast in drips and drabs, and you're all now sitting at a table. You have not managed to scramble up a particularly impressive breakfast at this continental buffet because what is left is not particularly impressive. I think, Reese, you have basically just a mountain of mushrooms because that's the only thing that was left. Heather's managed to get one egg. And you're all sitting around this table finishing off your food, and you've got plans to make for how you are going to investigate this. Stephen, you have a meeting very soon with Ernesto Sanchez down on the beach. I'm happy to give you a moment to talk to each other and make a plan.
I did try and save you some food. I didn't take all of it, I promise, but you should have come earlier. You knew it was going to be busy.
I'm surprised you were up so early, Edmond. I didn't sleep particularly well, and I heard others up as well. I figured everyone was awake most of the night.
I think Reese would be up pretty early, but I think he's already walked down to the edge of the lake, kind of walking a bit of the perimeter before coming back for breakfast.
What were you looking for?
Probably after the conversation last night with security, he's probably taken a pair of binoculars down and he's just scanning across the lake, probably rerunning in his mind sort of the grid search pattern that he did 10 years ago.
That power roll.
Oh, here we go again.
I'd like to spend 4 points of luck.
That voice is calling to you again, Reese, asking you just to dive in, come for a swim, come into the water. You don't have to go in, but you want to. Is there what's the memory? There's a memory you have. It involves a swim in a cold lake and your mother. What's the memory, Reese? This is me asking you to improvise.
Yeah, he's thinking. Yeah, I think it was the first time that he'd really realized that the water was the place for him. It was his home. He was more comfortable in the water than on land. There was a kind of peace in the water. But I think he also lost sight of his mother for quite a while.
And you were just so glad when you came out of the water and she saw you and she rushed in. She ran into the water and grabbed you.
Yeah, I think there was that kind of thing, and I've experienced this in real life. He's sort of been caught by a bit of a current, tumbled, trying to orientate yourself, and that kind of mad panic scramble to get out, and then that utter relief when sort of those.
So she runs into the water and she just grabs you into an embrace, and it's that cold, wet, but warm embrace of the mother in the water.
Yeah.
That's what you really, really want right now.
Yeah, and I guess in a way that is just linked with the feeling of the water.
Yeah. Stephen, I think you're down by the lake with Ernesto Sanchez. Are you going in the water with him?
No. Well, I'm tempted. The point, though, as a scientist, is always to have a control group, which is me standing on the shore and seeing what happens. I will admire his massage, though, especially in the morning sun as it gleams from the oil and shines perfectly. But yeah, I'm looking at him very cautiously, and I do take a couple of notes in a sense of, does he behave differently as we approach the shore? Does he have that same look as Reese did the other day, or as Heather did? Yeah,
not
then
immediately, for sure. I want you to know that he's got one of those like 1980s bathing costumes on. So he takes the shorts off and t-shirts off. It's a one piece. It's striped. He does some jumping jacks. Just himself. Okay, well, I will go for a swim now.
You very much so do. Yes, of course. Please. Just let me know if you feel anything strange or odd or yes. So please go.
And he just sort of steps into the water, and then as he steps into the water, a little shiver runs through his body, and then you watch him dive into the water and start swimming out. And 10 seconds pass, and he's still swimming out. And a minute passes, and he's growing quite small as he swims out towards the center of the lake. And then a few more minutes pass, and he's barely a dot in the center of this lake. And you're just waiting for him to turn around or something. And then you lose sight of him.
God. I think in preparation, seeing him already kind of disappear on the horizon, I do see there are some boats or docking station around. Are there like some minor dinghy or anything, paddle boats?
So the boats and the docks are on the far side of the lake from where you are.
No, okay.
Oh, right. And they're abandoned. It's abandoned. So on this side, there's nothing like that at all. And so there's just the stage and the water.
Do
you want to give me a sanity roll? Just I don't think it's going to be a big cost or anything, but this is a very.
That's what I'm. Oh, that's a fail. No fumble, but
maybe we'll take one san.
Okay.
And I think you're panicking. I think you're not sure how, but you think you've just killed a man.
Yeah. I'm basically pacing up and forth. I'm going through my phone. I'm pre-dialing 911, and then I'm kind of canceling it, saying no. He's probably just messing with me. They probably caught on, and they're doing this as a stunt. And at some point, I don't think I even realized, but I'm just calling Heather. And yeah, just wait until it rings through, and before she even says anything, so I think I might have killed Edmundo or Eduardo.
What?
I didn't kill. No. So
Stephen?
Yeah.
Stephen?
What? Yes.
Could you repeat that for me, please? Did you just say you think you killed
No.
someone?
Well, it was me, but like I think well, so when I just asked him to swim out to make sure that the lake is safe, and he just swam out and further and further. I thought about calling. I called,
Stephen,
and he just rambles.
Yeah, she's gonna just keep cutting in and just be like, Stephen, can you take a deep breath for me and try to like just again that like break the cycle moment as she's I think gonna like turn down the volume on her phone and put it on speaker because she's I think still at breakfast with Edmond, or they have been making their way so that he could kind of pick up and just kind of give him the like hand motion of like, we're gonna head for the lake. And we're gonna start making our way down to where Stephen is. If we pass by anyone at the front desk, like who is not immediately swamped with other things, we might get their attention.
Yeah.
Reese sees Stephen or the person swimming
Yeah,
down.
I think all four of you are going to be kind of coalesce together around Stephen's position.
One might say we are together again.
So
I will kind of describe to them almost like in a scientific paper the exact procedure of what happened this morning, pretty much since I got up, because I think I'm still kind of in this weird state, and described to him that he kind of just swam out and he had that same brief shiver that Heather had, and I think, but seeing Ed will calm him down to the extent that he will just in a scientific way describe the details one by one.
Does this resort have like a nurse's station or a lifeguard post for the pool or anything like that?
yes, I think the pool has a lifeguard post.
Okay.
It's presently unoccupied.
Of course it is.
There's a
things
lot of people in the pool though already.
I think Reese would sort of, once Stephen's calmed down a bit, sort of look at him and say, well, you saw this person go into the lake. Do you think you could find them this time?
Well, I guess if it comes to expertise, aren't you the perfect diver? Why don't you go and go in and find him?
How long has he been in the water? He is a
I don't know,
security guard.
10 minutes. I mean, I've barely seen her. I called you
This
almost.
man is a security guard at a resort with a lake. I don't imagine it seemed like he was swimming normally. He wasn't struggling to swim or anything like that. He had
And from what you said, he was swimming to the other side by the sound of it. So why don't we just follow the lake round?
Yeah, exactly. Or I was hoping to get a good look at the boathouse. If the worst comes to worst, we could always get a boat, take it out.
Well, yeah.
There's no boats in the boathouse. The boathouse is in disrepair.
What we could have done 10 years ago.
Well, then
if you went round towards the boathouse, Edmond, you would also be passing Tommy's last known location, which would probably be a useful thing for you to go over as well.
I think perhaps we should take a walk around the lake. Do you want me to call someone from at the front desk and ask them to keep an eye out for Ernesto in case he comes back, or should one of us wait here in case he turns around and comes back?
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just overreacting. I didn't sleep too well last night. Let's just let's just call somebody. I do want to kind of also, and he's already kind of like placing the clothing of Mr. Sanchez.
I think
Ernesto.
Reese, if his clothing there, is there a jacket with keys in the pocket?
He did take it off.
Because if he's head of security, he's probably going to keep the keys to that gun cabinet on him.
Give me the luck roll.
No.
You search the clothes that he brought down with him, which was just a t-shirt and pair of shorts, but there is unfortunately no personal items in it. Ernesto is a little bit too savvy for that sort of thing. But the four of you, do you want to call Victoria at the front desk?
Heather's going to call the front desk because Heather is also, I think, going to clock that there is no one else here. Like Ernesto came on his own. So also the question of, are there other security guards / lifeguards like on site at all? I was up with Edmond when we heard about how everything is incredibly short staffed and a bunch of people abruptly quit. So I'm starting to spin on like, well, if he didn't bring his keys and didn't bring anyone else with him, is there like a second in command who's back at the post? So I will call Victoria and give her a
Jill
brief...
Flamingo.
Hi, Victoria. This is Heather Lockley with the Doyle party. We were meeting with Ernesto out by the side of the lake this morning, and he went for a swim and hasn't come back yet. And a couple of our party members are a little concerned about that.
Ernesto went for a swim.
Yes. Yes, he was swimming across the lake from the side near where the stage is being built, headed towards the eastern side. Is he a good swimmer? That seems like a silly question.
I wouldn't worry about it at all. Ernesto is just the most amazing swimmer. Crossing the lake like that is something he would do most mornings. I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Is it something he does most mornings? Going to ask very pleasantly and try to listen for those tells when foster parents are lying to me.
Psychology roll.
That is a fumble. I am cursed today. I don't think I have succeeded a single roll.
Yep. No, she's telling you the whole truth. Actually, you intrinsically trust Victoria because she hasn't lied to you at all. Actually, she's been really, really truthful.
I remember her being incredibly helpful 10 years ago.
Yeah, you really do. You trust Victoria. That is your fumble.
Right.
We're just making this rom-com worse.
So bad. All right. Thank you. I just want to check in. I don't know if Ernesto has any other security staff, but maybe if you could just let them know, we're going to take a little bit of a walk around the lake to try to help calm everybody's nerves. But if he comes back and is looking for us, if you could just give me a call at this number, I would really appreciate it.
I'm sure he'll be back in an hour or so.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you so much. If anything else comes up, please, again, if you could call me back or text me at this number, whatever's most convenient. And I will check in when we get back to the hotel. Thank you so much.
Hey, and now the four of you are going around on this walk. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Edmond, you are leading the other three to what is, in many ways, is just a bit of sand. It's not important at all. It's a completely unimportant place that fills you with a deep-seated dread in your belly, just walking towards it, you actually start to get butterflies in your stomach as you get closer and closer and closer to Tommy's last known location.
But there is a bit of anticipatory excitement because of what he saw in the video last night, many times over. Does the background, does the boathouse look the same, by the way?
So you're not at the boathouse yet. You basically walked around a little bit. And his last known location is just inside the fenced off area.
Right, okay.
The not fenced off area. So the fence is up ahead of you, and you would have to go through the fence now. And as you sort of are there, anyone who wants to can give me a tracking roll here. There do appear to be footprints in the sand.
I mean, I've only got base, but yeah, sure.
Ooh,
oh my God.
Success.
I can't. 310
That's a
as well.
hard success for me as well.
Goodness me.
No, the success regular, sorry.
I'm
that's a
not
lot of
gonna
successes.
roll. I'm gonna trust the boys. My track record's not good.
Oh, bless you.
You would lead us into the water.
I mean, it's clear as day. There is a set of small children's footprints leading up to a hole in the fence. The hole is small enough for a child to crawl through. It's a bit difficult for any of you to get through unless you were to try and expand this, or you could go around the fence through the water. But it looks like these footprints, these small footprints, are heading towards the boathouse.
I hope Reese would carry something like a Leatherman in his pocket, being pretty practical. So I think he'd try and snip at the fence and make the hole larger.
It's probably a mechanical repair. Do you have that? If there's another skill you feel better suits it that you have, I'm happy to switch up.
40 in that. We'll try it. Yep. Success. Yep. 36 under 40.
Make short work of that hole, opening it up, which, Stephen, I might add, increases the chances of alligators attacking this area massively. Reese has in effect taken a small hole and turned it into a death trap. It is the sort of thing where an alligator could easily... Anyway.
I'm not going to elaborate. He knows what he's doing, apparently. His special Navy SEAL training has prepared him for this. But what do I know?
4 of you crawl rather inelegantly through the hole in the fence, heading towards the boathouse. It's a wooden structure. There's no windows, and it looks dilapidated. The jetty juts out over the water, but it's covered in green moss and black mold. Now, with that hard tracking roll success, I think the footprints are everywhere around here. They go into the water, they come out of the water, they are just generally around this boathouse in various different directions. And as you step in and move into this area, the other thing you notice is there's a few scattered flamingo feathers lodged in the mud, caught in the wood, just generally lying around, far more than any you've seen anywhere else.
Is it quite usual for flamingos to be picked off like that?
Feathers.
But presumably they'd have been caught in there or torn off by something else.
You're not sure?
Have
I mean,
we have we seen any flamingos since we've been at the resort? Or do we
Yeah, there are
see-
flamingos.
Okay, just double checking.
Okay.
There's nothing telltale that would be sort of, I don't know, I'm not an expert on alligators, but I presume they leave sort of drag marks from their tails, whatever they're called. Any sign
With
of
your
alligator
hard
movement?
tracking success, I'll say that there's no sign of alligators in this area at this moment in time.
I don't like how you phrase that last bit.
I mean, Stephen would probably use the time to check a bit closer in the away from the lake, but in the brushes and anything around to see if he can find anything identifying about potential animals or wildlife that would indicate anything to him, in a sense.
Researching the surrounding area.
Basically trying to see if there's any biological samples or anything of other animals that
Give me a biology roll.
Okay. That is a hard success.
You find a decaying flamingo corpse, which has been dead a while. And with that hard success, the bones have the telltale signs of gnawing on them. This flamingo was eaten. It wouldn't be an alligator because they would snap the bones. This was done slightly more delicately. Potentially a small predator of some kind. Maybe a dog?
Right. Let's assume a dog for now. I'll make a note of this and probably take my phone out and take a couple of pictures just to be safe. But I do feel a bit uneasy and kind of turn around and just look at Ed in the same time too. And not sure what I should do.
I think if
What
Reese
do you
sees
do?
you looking concerned, he would pull his 22 at this point. He's pointing towards the ground, but it seems as though Stephen's concerned about something.
And I guess I would actually respond that look, or seeing your action, I'm not gonna, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I actually feel a bit relieved, but also still like remain concerned, and will slowly kind of return.
I think there'd be probably the first kind of almost companion eye contact at that point.
Mr. Lover's story continues. But everyone is now looking at you, Edmond.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think he's still quite bemused by, the fact that these flamingo feathers are here. Presumably he's also seen Stephen has come across a decomposing flamingo, and the way Stephen looks is concerning, reminds him of a couple of times 10 years ago, uncovering his findings. So he's just gonna, in a very healthy manner, try and push that down. And he says, okay, well, maybe this isn't the best area to be in, especially, given where we are. So let's just head to the boathouse.
You step
need
up to
to
the
see it.
boathouse. There is a door. But you give it a quick rattle and it is distinctly locked.
Okay.
You could probably go around the building if you went into the water and climb up onto the jetty, and then you would be able to get inside.
I'm sure I could, Hedge. I'm sure I could.
What if we just use force and break
I was
it
going to
down?
say, yeah, I think
Are there any
Reese is
windows?
booted.
There are
No, this
openings.
is door kicking time. This is
Yeah.
door kicking time.
Reese is booting that door.
Strength roll, please.
As Heather asks if there's a window, just
If
Yeah, Heather's like, there's a window right here. We could just climb in. Reese,
no.
let's do 1d2. Take 2 damage as you kick the door as hard as you can, and it's just rebounds. You slightly overestimated your ability to kick indoors.
Steve
As Heather
challenge.
looks at you like an idiot and pointing to the small window that at least she could probably fit through.
I'd like to think it wasn't my strength. It was more like algae and stuff on the door, which just meant my ankle twisted on it.
That is what you like
Obviously.
to think, yes.
Whilst this is all going on, Edmond will also kind of just a bit back from the door. He'll get out the phone, play the video again, and just sort of do a little bit of a perspective comparison, and just sort of do an affirming nod. Yeah, he definitely came through here.
Are we getting into this building, team?
I would say, I mean, if I see Edmund kind of nodding and hearing that affirmation that he thinks he was here, I think he will, also a bit challenged by Reese's failed attempt, try to kick down the door, despite Heather seeing the window. It is about...
I was like, guys, there's a window right here.
no,
It's
let the
not
boys
about
have their
that.
fun.
It's not about that.
Strength roll.
That's a hard success.
You
Tell
can
me
practically smell the
how this door
testosterone.
opens.
I think it's a precise kick against the lock, so that I don't need too much force, but like just the right impact at the right point, and it just like goes off its hinge, like opens from the lock, and it just swings open.
And what do you say to Reese afterwards?
Nothing. I just turn to him and smile. But then
Remember.
immediately kind of, there's the victory smile that I succeeded. But then I quickly go a bit careful again and actually do step back and just look at his gun and look at the doorway.
I was about
Edmund
to
just
remind you.
wandered straight in. He's not paid attention to any of this. So he just wandered straight in.
I think Heather wants to try to like put a hand on his shoulder or grab him a little bit, and just a little bit like, Ed, maybe we should check inside before we walk in. This wood looks pretty rotten. I don't want you to fall in the water.
First thing you notice as you move towards the door, Edmund shaking the others off, is the stink of decay coming out from inside the boathouse. There are a number of flamingo corpses scattered around the inside, many of them in different degrees of decay, some of them looking fairly fresh, and the fresher ones look as if something has been eating them. Can you all give me sanity rolls as you see this?
I suppose, if you insist.
Simply a D2 for those who fail.
Fine.
So that's Stephen and Heather who fail. Edmund, you make your way inside. Inside, there is a small, you want to call it a nest. Probably the best word to use is a nest. As you step up to the nest, there's a weird feeling of foreboding. As you bend down and pick up small plastic Triceratops toy. Edmund, you know this toy. This is Toppy. This was Tommy's favorite toy. He never left home without it. I'm going to take another sanity roll from you. Sorry. That needs to
That's
happen.
cool. Yeah, that gets him.
Listen, I'm going to take 1d6.
Oh, okay.
This is emotional damage.
Hey, okay.
It's 5. Roll your intelligence roll.
Yep.
And you understand it.
I do.
Edmond, you know that Tommy's alive.
Indeed.
You know that he has been alive for 10 years. He has been in this boathouse for 10 years. And you know all of that is true. And let's see, there's the character sheet actually has a bout of madness buttons. Let's just click and see what it gives us today.
That's
The
quite
bout of
fitting.
madness that you have had chosen is paranoia. The thing is, Edmond, in order for Tommy to have been here for 10 years and not be discovered, 2 people in particular would have needed to have completely failed at their jobs. They would have needed to lie to you about doing the work. They'd have needed to send you astronomical bills, and they are standing behind you at this moment in time, and you do not trust them for a second.
It probably doesn't help that with the smell and that and obviously the sight of all the carcasses, that Reese would now have his gun up with a torch at the side of it, sort of typical TV style. So probably ostensibly to Edmond, pointing the gun at him, but it's actually pointing into the boathouse.
And I think ominously, I stand kind of next to you, behind you, seeking kind of protection. But from Ed's perspective, it's probably like we're buddying up together.
Okay. I think as well as part of the paranoia, like any other kind of sound of movement, Edmond sort of either looks or at least darts his eyes because he assumes that it's his son. So he's going to grab the little Triceratops toy and he's going to back away, or if you're kind of flanking him, then kind of back round and further into the boathouse.
So you're going now out onto the jetty?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we'd be blocking the boathouse entrance as such, yeah.
It's all
And
you,
like-
isn't it? It's all you.
Ed, hey, buddy, what's the matter? What did you
I've been
find?
so stupid. I didn't see it.
You have seen? You've not seen what? Hey, buddy, just hey, come over here. Let's talk. Be careful. You don't know how the structure is holding up.
Why do you care? Why do you care if I fall in? You didn't care about Tommy. And all this time you've just been dragging it out, exploiting me, exploiting Heather, Patricia, everybody.
Okay, Ed, I don't think this is helping anyone. Why don't we step outside and get some fresh air? It's a little bit intense in here. And let's talk. You found something, it looks like? You've got something in your hand. What did you find?
Tommy's favorite toy. And he holds it up for you to see.
Tommy!
This probably isn't going to help Ed, but I think at the same time, Reese is probably still gun up, but hand sort of in a peaceable measure, edging into the boathouse to try and get closer to him, to grab him if needs be. But he's probably not going to read this in the right way.
Give me a spot
he's
hidden.
Sorry, who?
Ed, I need a spot hidden.
Me.
That's you, Jayson. Give me that spot hidden.
And I think Stephen is trying to whisper something to Heather at the same time to say, like, just get him out and we'll see what we find here.
It's a 17 under 45.
Walking away from the boathouse towards the hotel is a small child.
Okay. His instinct is to run towards this child, but also he realizes that there are people in his way. So he's going to try and...
I mean, the water's not that deep.
I know it isn't, Hedge. Okay, all right. Let me put this back at you. I will try not to be player me as much as possible in this. Which does Edmond think is the easiest? Is it either barreling through people, or is a more direct way to actually like go in the water and swim around, sort of thing? Because he'll do it.
The water's not that deep, so it'd be pretty easy for him to jump off. You would get soaked up to your knees. I think you would only do it if you didn't think you could get through them. So you could also try and sprint through them, and that's totally fine. The only thing that might make you hesitate is the fact that Reese literally does have his gun out, which, so he might shoot you. Yeah, like you don't know what depth this man would go to cover up his clear crimes.
Exactly.
And I'm approaching you, sort of skirting around the inside of the outside of the boat's house. Yeah.
Edmund's just shaking his head at you, not leaving your gaze, and he just says, "You won't silence me. You won't."
Yeah, I think Reese is letting Heather do the talking.
No one is trying to silence you, Ed. There's a lot happening right now. Inside here, there's a lot of death and decay, and that's something that we're all processing, and that's what we're here to do, is to try to process things. And I don't think this is healthy right now. So I can we just talk about this? Can we just step outside into the fresh air where there's more of a breeze and just talk about this a little bit? I'm trying to understand what just happened and where you're coming from. You found Tommy's toy. That's got to be bringing up a lot of emotions for you. So maybe we could just sit on the sand here, or we could step over to the grass and we could just talk about this for a minute.
Without waiting for Heather to finish, I would like to cause a distraction so that he can get away before Reese attempts to shoot him. So Ed is going to throw the Triceratops toy at Reese. But he's not great at throwing, so if he accidentally hits Heather, then oh well, it's still a distraction.
I think Heather is trying to keep some distance from Reese, so this could be
really
funny.
excited. I'm really excited about this throw roll.
Okay, you ready? Yes! 9 under 20. I've never been this good with die rolls on Roll20 at all.
My favorite thing about this scenario was going to be Jayson throwing a Triceratops at Charlie's head this morning. I would have been very confused. But yes, the Triceratops hits him directly between the eyes, distracting
So you threw it at
Reese.
me, not Heather.
Yes.
He threw it at you, yes, Charlie.
Okay.
And Edmond, how do you, when Reese is distracted, what do you do?
I dart off the jetty and start sort of half running, half wading my way through this water to try and get to the child.
Excellent. I will take, just give me a dexterity. Just remember how well you do this.
A dexterity roll, okay. I'm going to spend 4 points of luck to make that a regular success.
Excellent. There is a few moments of confusion, Reese, Heather, and Stephen, before the three of you find yourselves alone in the dockhouse. Edmond is gone. We're going to stay with the three of you for a second and figure out how you respond to this.
I'm just wondering what's the likelihood that my finger slips on the trigger if I get hit in between the eyes with a plastic toy.
Did you have your finger on the trigger, or were you in the trigger discipline?
Yeah,
oh boy.
because this was not, this space, there was an issue here.
Well, give me that luck roll. I wasn't going to have you murder one of the other investigators, Charlie, but you've asked for it, so. Okay, now
no, that's a fail.
Give me the handgun roll as the shot goes off. You need to succeed in order to not shoot someone.
Oh, extreme success. Okay, maybe I've just got it in that slightly downward position where I shoot a hole through the bottom of the boathouse.
You shoot a hole through the bottom of the boathouse. The point 22 is still a fairly loud gun. And it rings, and it's that shot that it does two things. Edmond, it confirms to you that you were about to get shot. And Reese, Stephen, and Heather, that's the reason why you didn't immediately march off after Edmond, because you hit the deck because someone just shot at you. And that 15-20 second head start is enough to have lost Edmond in amongst the trees and the wildlife here on the shore. And I think once the three of you manage to extricate yourselves from this house and stay around, he's gone.
I think this is where Heather finally loses a little bit of her cool. She's been trying to really keep that somebody's got to keep it level. All this testosterone is really coming to a head, and this is the point where she's just like, Reese, what the hell was that? What is going on? Why? Put the gun away right now.
I think he hasn't got an answer, so I think a bit petulantly he'll just pick the little toy dinosaur up and go, he started it, but he will
snatch it out of your hand.
Oh, still a weapon.
Does anybody see where he went? Something's going on. I don't know what just happened to any of you, but it's not good, and we need to go find Edmond before he does something that we're all probably going to regret. I am not calling my sister to tell her that I also lost her ex-husband in the same place her son went missing.
Well, he can only have gone left or right.
Great. Which one was it? You're the geniuses who are good at tracking and finding things, so tell me where he went so I can go get him.
Okay, do you want to spot hidden?
Could I think back and remember in which direction Edmond looked before he disappeared?
Yes. You can give me a spot. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to give you a spot hidden or a psychology, depending on which kind of approach you'd like that to be.
Well, a spot hidden, I think I would prefer in a sense that he was looking at Edmund's body language to anticipate if he runs at him, if he needs to kind of duck in cover or he needs to grab Edmund before something happens to him. So he was more really looking at Edmund in a protective sense.
I think with give me the spot hidden. On a success, you will have noticed. On a failure, you'll have been too focused on what he's doing and you won't have been thinking about where he's looking.
Yep, I have not. I didn't notice where he was looking.
No. Reese, you're going to have a penalty die on this because you got a thing thrown at you. So you can click the other button, the purple one. And so what all that means is your penalty die is the -1, so you failed.
Okay.
You have no idea. Neither of you have any idea. And Heather is giving you the face.
There's no splash, though.
There was a splash, yes. He jumped into the water.
Did any of us hear it, though, over the ringing in our ears of the gunshot, since none of us have hearing protection?
Presumably because Hedge just told me there was. I'm guessing we did.
You heard the splash. But yes, the ringing in your ears is the reason why you've completely lost Edmond.
Right.
Well,
I think Reese would probably go to the edge of the water to kind of look over the whole expanse.
Yeah, actually, let's leave you there for a moment and let's cut and find out what did happen. Edmond, you were running back towards the hotel where a small boy is barefoot and is walking ahead of you, and you're running and running and running, and you catch him up just far enough away from the hotel that you're still private, but far enough, but close enough that you are near the hotel side now. What do you do?
This may sound like a daft question, but presumably it is Tommy, right? It's not just some other random kid.
That's a really good question. You're looking at him from behind right now because you're running up towards him.
I mean, does it like same hair color, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to run right up to him. Not grab hold of him completely, but the instinct is strong enough that he needs to feel contact with him. So he kind of gets him a bit by the shoulders in order to turn him round. So he's going to say, "Tommy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to stop watching you." You know, kind of going into a bit of a panicky tirade.
Return to see a small, malnourished boy with sandy blonde hair, sunken eyes, and a blank expression. And as you stare at him, this is Tommy. This is Tommy Doyle, your boy. And he stares up at you with that black expression, and he just turns his head slightly and says, "Hello. Do you want to build sandcastles with me?"
Edmond just hugs him tight. Yes, of course I will build sandcastles. I'll build sandcastles every day that we're here. And then we're going to go home. We're going to see your mum. And everything will be all right again.
Mom?
Yeah.
Let's
your
go
mum's
see
been
my
worried
mommy.
sick. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. We can go
Give
right now if you
me
want.
power roll.
Hey. Let's see who he thinks is his mummy.
And the boy unravels from your hug. He takes your hand and he begins pulling you towards the lake. And with that hard success on your power roll, Edmond, all of this, comes crashing, all of the oddity and the peculiarity and the weirdness comes crashing down on you all at once. And you realize that you have no idea if this is or isn't Tommy Doyle. Like this is really happening. He can't still be 4. That makes no sense. Something really messed up is happening, and you're suddenly back, and your brain is a little more fresh. And this child is trying to pull you into the lake.
Okay. He's going to try and pull him back enough that he can maybe take him by both sides and sort of lift him up a little bit, as if to sort of lift him
Give me a
back
strength roll.
Okay. Oh, what a fumble. What an amazing time that was. Turns out this kid is a friggin' bodybuilder or something.
It's weird. But you get pulled into the water. I'm going to cut back to the other 3 of you. Reese, you looked out over and you see a few hundred yards away, further up the beach, there is Edmond. and he looks like he's talking to a child. And he gives him a hug, and then he takes his hand, and the child starts pulling Edmond into the water. Edmond resists for a second, but is then suddenly pulled in. And Edmond is now in the shallows of the water.
Okay, he's going to shout to the others, to Stephen. Well, he's going to shout Edmond, and he will start booking it in that direction. And hopefully the other two will follow.
Or just check in, Stephen, Heather.
Yeah, I mean, if I hear that, I will grab Heather by the hand and just look at her like, should we?
He hasn't pointed in a direction, but he's just started heading in a direction full pelt.
Heather will follow whatever direction that Reese is running and Stephen is pulling her. She is also going to pull out her phone and start dialing, I think, the front desk again. Just hit redial.
Your friend.
Yeah. And Reese will keep on shouting out Edmond as he's running.
Right. So, Reese, everybody give me dex rolls for running towards Edmond. Edmond, we'll get to you in a second. And then, Heather, if you're going to make this phone call, your dex roll will be with a penalty die.
Right. Hard success for Reese.
It's a fail, because of course it is.
I mean, you passed that second one, so it's just the penalty die that screwed you over. So, Stephen, you've got a success, and Reese, you've got a hard success.
Yep.
So, Reese, you reach the water's edge and you are there in time to see Edmond being pulled down into the water. He appears to be trying to resist, but he is going deeper and deeper and deeper.
He's going to grab him.
You'll need to get into the water to grab him.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
Okay. And since you got a success in the power roll earlier, this one's going to be with a bonus die.
Okay.
But you are going to make a power roll as you go in the water.
2 hard successes in a row. So
Very, very nice. Okay, so yeah, you're going to get in the water and the voices are calling for you. You hear the sounds, but you're going to put your arms around Edmond and you're going to just pull hard. Give me a strength roll.
I think he's super focused because he's failed the family once. He isn't going to fail again. Sorry, what did you want? Strength.
Strength roll.
Yep, success.
Brilliant. Yeah, we're going to... Edmund, give me a power roll for a second, just as all this is happening. I just want to see the lasting effect on you.
I got a success.
Excellent. Okay, this is going to be fun. Stephen, when you arrive, just like 10 seconds after Reese, you see Reese and Edmond soaking wet, lying, taking deep, deep breaths on the side of the water, staring at this lake where Tommy has disappeared. Heather. Hello.
Hi. Yes. Has Ernesto returned? We're having some sort of we may be having some sort of medical incident on the far side of the lake, and we could use some assistance, security, or a nurse, something. I don't quite know what's going on, but we could possibly use some help. If you've got somebody with a vehicle that could drive around and meet us, a truck, a golf cart, I don't really care at this point.
Of course, yes. No, Ernesto will be right there. He just got back into work, so I'll send him out now.
Great, thank you.
And Heather, as you reach the other three, you see that, yes, a golf buggy has been dispatched and is driving now towards you with Ernesto. With Ernesto in it. And he pulls up and he's like, "Hey, how can I help you all?"
honey, I think we should go back to the hotel and get you some dry clothes, and we should talk about what just happened. And maybe be away from the lake for a while.
Give me a psychology roll as you look at Ernesto. Or Stephen, that was a psychology roll.
Oh, me. Okay. Just
Sorry.
making sure. You know what? I'm gonna spend 17 luck to make that a regular success.
Physically, this is the same person. Body language, stance, everything about him, totally different.
Mustache.
Very weird. Beautiful. Just the most amazing mustache. And he piles Edmond and Reese into the golf cart, and he drives them back as the other two walk along beside this golf cart. And you all make it back to the hotel, where the party has started. The whole stage is set up and started playing, and it's bouncing. This guy you saw earlier, the DJ, he's kind of got this set going on, and there's people dancing. The pool is hopping. The music is blaring. Hey, spring break has started at the Bejeweled Flamingo. Woohoo! Yeah, it is. It is wild in here.
Is the DJ any good?
It's looking amazing. Like
Great. Just needed to know.
This is just like the bass is thumping. He knows when to hit the drops. It's this sort of, it's full of like memes and references, but it's a solid dance beat underlying it. So while it is definitively music for a younger generation, you can still really appreciate it. There's the thumping drum and bass holding it all together, and then the dance beat and the build up and the drops. Oh, this is good rave music. Where do you all go? Where are you going to recuperate? Where are you going to discuss this? Where are you going to take your next steps?
I think Reese is going to the bar.
Bar on the outside is packed.
Oh no. Inside.
No,
Away from this utter crap that's blaring out across the lake. Yeah.
Let me suggest room service.
I think that's a great idea.
I need a towel and a proper shower.
If Steve, if the management or the people here are still understaffed, then Stephen will just, without saying a word, go behind the bar, grab 2 bottles of whiskey, and says, "Room service is here," and start heading upstairs.
I think Reese would nod at him, go behind the bar, grab some tumblers, and follow with the glasses.
Heather is just trying to steer Edmond for our rooms. She doesn't care whose room we end up in, but she's like, we need to get in a room behind a closed door where we can talk about whatever just happened.
I think you all end up in, let's say Edmond's room. And you're all sitting there. Edmond, you saw him. Like, he's alive. Something weird happened, but like, yeah, if you could just get him away from Patricia was right.
When Reese got there, was there any signs of the kid? No. So I think Reese would butt in and be like, there was no kid there. He was just pulling himself into the water.
There was. It looked like Tommy. For a while, I thought it was him. He looked malnourished, some black darkness across him, but he spoke like him. And I said about how his mum was really worried and we're going to go see her. And then he said, yes, we'll see mummy. And that's when he started pulling me towards the lake. You can believe me or not, I don't care, Reese. But that's what I saw, and Patricia was right.
Stephen is kind of rolling up your sleeves to see if there are any marks left of where he dragged you. I mean, presumably you had nails or, you have scarring or any signs that there was physically somebody.
You have medicine?
Well, we've seen wonders today.
Well, no, I'll take medicine or first aid or... Yeah, medicine or first aid would be the two rules that I accept.
I mean, you're looking at the doctor.
Well, I'm a biologist. I'm not a medical doctor. No, even a first aid, that's a fail.
There are marks on his arms, but you're not entirely sure where they're from or what they would have come from. It's a little bit confusing.
I think we're all a bit stressed, and we might have said things, we might have seen things that just don't really make sense. How about we just take a moment and really gather the facts and what we really know. If that was truly Tommy, how can he stay a 4-year-old child the way you describe him? That is scientifically impossible.
Well, I know, and I don't know the answer.
Thing is,
Are you not?
there were kids' footprints around the boathouse. Now, I'm not buying into it's Tommy, but
I kind of look at you like actually acknowledging, yes, are you sure it was Tommy and not a kid that very, very much looked like him? Especially if it was emaciated?
Either way, what happened was really messed up.
I think we should all take a moment to remember that when people are processing grief, sometimes we see and feel and experience things that aren't there. This is a documented scientific phenomenon. I see this all the time in the families that I work with when you are trying to process extreme grief. And it's especially worse around things like an anniversary, like we are now, and being back in the place for the first time. I think maybe we're all more on edge than we wanted to be. And it's a stressful situation, and I don't think that it's helping anyone for us, and she's going to look very deliberately at Reese and then at Stephen, to be constantly nitpicking at each other about what happened back then. What we need to focus on is what's happening right now, because that is what we can control. That is what we can affect, right? I feel like this is like my 101 psychology classes. I shouldn't be having to explain this, especially to the two of you.
I think Reese is filling Stephen's glass at the moment. There's almost a little bit of a bro moment going on. And he will look at Stephen and say, so what's your take on the boathouse? Something nesting there, something using it as a food store? And is there anything in this kind of habitat that would do that?
He looks a bit concerned at Edmond, and it kind of looks at Heather, but then just kind of pulls out his phone and shows the photograph of the gnawing marks on the dead flamingo and kind of hands it around. As far as my interpretation of the scene goes, yes, there was something nesting there, and well, given the size, it could be, well, a mammal of the size of, a small child, for sure. But one of the things that I'm concerned about is that these gnawing marks here are definitely quite unusual to too hesitant. They're not vicious enough for animals. They seem. And he kind of looks at Ed, really concerned, like they look like gnawing marks of a small creature. I'm not going to say it is, but it could be that a child maybe lived there.
Okay. No, we're not going down this path. We're not. No, this is not going to help anyone. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right there, Stephen. Speculating about that sort of thing is only going to do harm to.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, Stephen. A kid eating flamingos.
If you consider the available food sources in the vicinity and without access to a continuous source of normal.
There's a hotel right there. If there was a child out here who was starving, why wouldn't they go to where people are and get help? We can see it from where we were. It's not like being lost in the woods where you can't find another option. We're not talking about a feral, abandoned anything that's been trapped in the glades. You can get to the lake, and if you can get to the lake, you can get to everything around the lake.
He just shakes his head and takes a sip.
I think Reese would look at Stephen. Do you want to go and check the boathouse again? We didn't get time to investigate.
Yes.
I think he'd drain his glass and say, we could do it now.
He chugs his as well.
I think Reese would get up.
So does
As Reese and Stephen head back outside, you hear booming out over the speakers. And tomorrow there will be a contest. The person who can stay in the lake for the longest will win $1 million.
I think at that point, Reese would look at Stephen and say, even more reason we need to go to the boathouse now.
Absolutely.
When that happens, the whole place just erupts and everyone starts dancing. It's a lot of dancing. Amazing competition. Everyone's super excited. Talking about what they're going to do with their $1 million they're going to win. Okay, let's just stay with Edmond and Heather. As the Brosifs have left on their adventure, what are the two of you going to do? We're sort of in a late afternoon now, early evening, so we're kind of approaching the end of the day. You've got everybody out dancing and partying and raving. And the hotel's surprisingly empty.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Heather?
I'm not
Empty
sure.
hotel? Lack of staff? They must know something about this kid. They must have seen him.
Edmond, it's spring break. This is large holidays like this are notoriously when staff quit or they fuck off on their own to go to their own break because they don't want to dealing with a bunch of overconfident, incompetent college students that are just going to wreck everything.
Yeah.
There's perfectly logical explanations for why there's so few staff at this hotel. I'm a little concerned, more concerned, honestly, that there's so few security. There doesn't seem to be a lifeguard for the lake or the pool. That seems like a major violation of a variety of codes that I'm sure I could go get in someone's face about, but I don't know what good it's going to do.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not speculating about why people have suddenly quit, whilst that is kind of weird. What I mean is, right now, there's nobody around. They are hiding something from us in the office, under the desk. There must be some information about this kid. Someone must have seen something. There must be something. I'm thinking evidence-wise.
We know someone saw the kid. We have video of it from that Olivia, that influencer. Who do you think knows something that they're not telling us? Who do you think we should go talk to then?
I'm not
I'll go with
saying
you. We'll
talk to
talk to
anybody.
Then what are you saying, Ed?
There's nobody here, which means that offices are unoccupied.
You want to go break into an office and like look at records? Is that what you want to do?
I mean, I wasn't going to phrase it like that. It's not like they're being particularly organized and keeping things locked up or whatever when they should.
Fine. Let's go poke around behind some closed doors. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't have to advise you not to do this, but I will tell you which things we can and can't read and get in trouble for, okay?
Okay.
Heather is absolutely going to go along with this in a like sticking, letting Edmond lead, but sticking very close because she's actively concerned about his mental state and is kind of like, maybe if we go along with this, we can get to a point where he's behaving a little more himself. I think, and Edmond, depending on where you're at, you may or may not pick up on this. I think what you start to notice is the way that Heather has started talking to you is a lot more like the way she used to talk to Patricia, in that very like, that very soothing sort of like, okay, we're going to work on things. We're going to remember what's real, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, that sort of vibe.
Yeah, I think he would notice that.
Yeah. But yeah, I will follow your lead to go break into some offices, I guess.
Yeah.
Side note, I'm enjoying the fact that we're dropping in some real, actual, like, therapeutic tips here. Come for the horror, stay for the therapy tips.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be the rational character, but sometimes it just happens. When you keep failing and you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Edmond, where are you going? We're going to offices. So we're probably going to Victoria's office.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to start there.
Okay. We're going to smash cut now to Reese and Stephen walking back along the beach.
I think Reese would try and take a detour past the security office to see if there was anybody in there because he really wants a rifle. If there's something big in the water, he wants something with a longer range.
There is nobody in, and the door to the security office is locked.
Yeah, he's not going to do anything rash in a hotel. He's not going to shoot the lock out. Okay, he'll be disappointed, but head out to the lake.
We catch you walking along the beach, clambering back through that gap in the fence and arriving back at the boathouse. The two of you are standing outside of it.
I think he'll look at Steve and he'll be like, "I'll keep an eye out. You know more about what you're looking at in there."
Okay. Yeah, I will do my best. Takes out his phone puts on the flashlight. I assume you told him everything, also what happened to Edmond when you kind of approached him, like the way that he kind of behaved and resisted.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he'll go back into the boathouse and actually kind of start scanning through it line by line, seeing if he will do maybe a Cartesian search system, also known as a grid system, in order to find anything that he might have missed or not seen earlier, if there's any signs of really somebody housing here.
Sure, I'll start with a natural world roll. If you have that, I think you have that.
Yes, I do. That's a hard success for me.
You start with the flamingo corpses. And where on the flamingo corpses that were outside, you inferred this idea that a child had eaten them. Here inside, when you start looking at the fresher corpses, the teeth marks are undeniably omnivorous, and the chances of this not being human just fade out of your mind. A human child has been here. A human child has been eating these flamingos, and from the sheer number of them and the varying states of decay, the human child has been here for a long time, eating these birds, sustaining themselves. When you look at the nest and you poke about in it and you see the remains of some fibers and clothes, and you just looking at the state of disrepair. And every moment you stay inside this boathouse, you become more and more certain a child has been living here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll for Sam. Oh, that's an extreme success.
The bit of your brain that is pragmatic kicks in, and it feels analytic, it feels scientific, and you are just protecting yourself from what that means. You searched here. You remember doing it. Like, part of the search pattern involved the boathouse. The child wasn't here at that time. You remember that, and that's just keeping the wobble away as you step out towards Reese.
I think before I step out, actually, and with that kind of mindset, he will actually use his phone to look up academic papers on chemistry, on chemical compounds. That's the word for it. Chemical compounds that could lead to kind of perception distortion, paranoia, hallucinogenics that are found in lakes due to natural resources and so forth, that might have potentially created these effects on a scientific basis. That there is a weird microbe or bacteria in the lake that produces certain gases or elements that, when ingested or brought in contact with, create a fugue state that wants you to go to water, like rabies makes you hydrophobic. Maybe there's the opposite.
Chemistry roll.
Let's see. That's a hard success for chemistry.
Your brain thinks of a variety of different funguses, which there are some studies demonstrate that exposure to them gives off weird effects, like going towards water. It's been demonstrated in ants, but begins to quickly dismiss it because it's more complex organisms simply can't do that. You flick through various recreational drugs, and that's much more promising as you're just Googling away and thinking about it in general. The sort of things you were talking about are the sort of things that hallucinogens can do, specifically lysergic acid derivatives and that whole family. But they're not naturally occurring. They're in fact incredibly difficult to manufacture. However, I mean, you imagine that the sort of confusion about the state of reality that would happen in order for this to happen, it would have to be a lysergic acid derivative or MDMA. But none of them quite fit the picture. Like, there's nothing natural that could do this. Like, if this kid was locked up in a basement and was eating flamingos and some crazy person had been dosing them with LSD, maybe he'd be creating this effect. But there's not a rational scientific explanation for what you're seeing right now.
Okay. Shaking my head and so staring at the screen, I come back out and pretty much relay all my findings to Reese, and also kind of showing him pictures of the bite marks explaining to him really as best as I can that these are clear indication of that they only come from humans, and pull up reference pictures of child bites from dental pictures or whatever, just
So
to
you
get
saying,
him.
I mean, I guess it's possible when we were searching that the kid hadn't set up here, but are you saying basically this kid's gone Lord of the Flies and has created his own little world around this lake?
But it couldn't, right? He would still age. He couldn't stay 4-year-old. This is just impossible. Like, maybe it is a different kid that. Yes, I understand what Heather said, but like, what if a kid just doesn't see anything else as its home but this boathouse because it was abandoned and it was, I don't know.
Was there any more clothing in there that we recognize from
Remnants of
Few
fabric,
fibers.
but do you think
Let's
we could
cut
have
there.
missed it?
Franklin and Heather, it's almost too easy. You just walk up and there's no one there and there's loud noises outside. You pass reception and it's abandoned. You walk back into reception. You open the door and you are in the office. There is... Hold on. Hedge is buffering. 1 second. This is one of those scenes that I can't mess up. Here we go. It's small but well furnished. There's a large desk in the middle of the room with a leather chair. There's a closet on one side which is locked. And there's a computer on the desk.
Okay. Hoping that the leather isn't alligator leather. Yeah, I
Definitely
think,
alligator leather.
of course. I think Edmond's gonna make a beeline for the computer first.
Okay. Give me a computer use roll.
Do I even have computer use roll? Apparently not. I am a technophobe.
That's
Why don't
wild.
you have computer use? You now have computer use.
Thank you very much.
It is, however, 5%.
It is. Okay.
No,
That's
you don't know
surprisingly
anything
effective.
about computers. Bill,
Heather, do you think you could give me a
it's
hand?
password protected.
I will take a look and I will see what I can do. Can I attempt to?
Yes.
Great.
So you explained to Edmond what a password is.
Well, I was gonna say this is dangerous because I was gonna ask something. I was like, oh, I might have to use a skill that I'm less good at, but I'm gonna. No, actually, no. This is what I would do. I want to flip over like the keyboard and run my hand under the screen and under the mouse pad and look for the post-it note that has the password written on it.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. Give me the spot hidden.
Okay. Continuing my streak, failure.
This would be, a fantastic time to push a roll.
Yeah, I think I've got to at this point. I'm never gonna roll anything below
So you
50,
can.
so
Yeah, you can. You can spend your luck here. You can push the roll. If you switch to computer use, I would also count that as a pushed roll.
I'm looking to see what I stand a better chance with. You know what? At this point, I will spend the luck to make this a success. So I'm going to spend math 12 luck for my spot hidden roll to succeed.
You know what it is? It's when you realize the F key is a little bit more worn than all the other keys, and just pure luck, you just try flamingo as the password. And you're in. And you search through everything, and you control F, child, and you find an email. And there's going to be 2 emails to read out. So shall we have Heather read out the first email, and then the reply will be Edmond. So hand out 5A email from Ernesto Sanchez to Victoria.
All right. Subject, urgent concerns regarding security and guest reports. Dear Victoria, I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you of multiple security incidents that have been reported over the last few weeks at the resort. I believe these matters warrant your immediate attention. 1. Unaccompanied child on the premises. Several guests and employees have reported sightings of a possibly homeless child wandering around the resort grounds. This child has been observed approaching guests and causing minor disturbances. Despite extensive patrols by the security team, we have yet to identify or detain the individual. 2. Missing guests and staff. There has been a troubling pattern of reports regarding guests and employees failing to check out or return home after their shifts. While these occurrences are sparse, they are unusual for our resort and have caused concern among staff. 3. Hiring more security. I also once again strongly advise that we hire more security guards or hire an outside company to assist with the spring break event in a week. My staff and I are spread very thin, and it could result in a big security risk. Both issues raise significant questions about the safety and security of our resort. I strongly recommend that we coordinate with local authorities to launch an investigation and address these concerns transparently to protect the resort's reputation and ensure the safety of our staff and guests. Please let me know how you wish to proceed. Best regards, Ernesto Sanchez, Head of Security of the Jeweled Flamingo.
And
Victoria's reply. Let's see how passive aggressive this is. Dear Ernesto, thank you for bringing these matters to my attention. While I understand your concern, I am confident that these are isolated incidents that are not indicative of any serious threat to the resort or its operations. 1. Unaccompanied child. We have received no credible evidence that a child is consistently present on the premises. These sightings could be exaggerated or mistaken accounts from our guests. There is no need for heightened concern unless a verified issue arises. 2. Missing guests and staff. Employee absenteeism and guest schedule changes are common in an environment as dynamic in the hospitality industry. Until we receive formal complaints or police reports, I see no reason to treat these occurrences as abnormal. I will escalate to HR if employee tardiness increases. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. 3. Hiring more security. As I stated to you in person, the hiring of additional staff for this event is not necessary. You and your security staff are very well equipped to handle any situation. To hire additional staff for a singular event would mean I would have to do layoffs after the event, something I think we both don't want to do. To prevent further speculation, please redirect your efforts to ensuring that staff remain professional, that our guests feel welcomed, and that any rumors are contained. A calm, controlled response will maintain the resort's prestige and prevent unnecessary alarm. Thank you for your diligence in these matters. Should anything require urgent escalation, please contact me directly. Wow.
I have a plan that is a very bad idea, but actually speaks to Heather's skill set. But let's see where this goes. Holy crap.
You see, I told you, Heather, Victoria, she knew about this child.
Victoria,
It's been a problem for a time.
I wish... Where are these reports? Ernesto says that he's been receiving reports and turning them in, and Victoria says she hasn't seen them. Somebody's either mistaken or lying. There's no way that reports can exist and not exist at the same time. That's not how reports work.
Well, it could well be the trash for all we know, but let's have a look.
I think, yeah. I
You're
think
going to
we
look
wanna
around the room some more.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So
quick
you
look
go
at
through the
trash first.
desk and there's nothing else. You've gone look at the trash. There's nothing. There is a closet. It is locked.
Yeah.
And so that appears to be where important things are stored. At least that's what you would guess. Nothing else in the room seems to indicate otherwise.
She must have a key, but she probably has it on her. Was she wearing like a lanyard or something similar that could have a key attached to it?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
If you think back really hard, you remember she did have keys on a belt loop.
Okay. We need those keys.
I don't know that she's just going to hand over her master keys to the entire resort because we want to look at confidential files, Edmond.
Well, obviously, but I mean, I can't lockpick.
Do you think Ernesto made any reports to the police behind Victoria's back?
That's possible.
And if he didn't, do you think we should?
Oh, totally. Totally. This is severe negligence.
We can call the police and essentially ask for a welfare check on the hotel. I'm sure that they're breaking all kinds of codes and violations out with that. I heard someone say that the cleaning staff was building that stage. There's absolutely no way that's up to code, and it's probably in violation of several union contracts. Maybe we just call this in and get somebody out here to take a look at things, and then we don't have to keep looking. And we can all go home, and we can try to get past this and move on.
Okay,
Speaking of,
let's do it.
Reese and Stephen, as you are walking back towards the hotel, you hear coming over the speakers, "The competition will start in 30 minutes. Who can stay in the lake the longest?"
Well, Reese, I don't think any of this is good for anyone, and we need to put a stop on this. And he will actually show him and play him the recording from earlier that he made from Victoria in the office. And start to lay out a plan to basically send it to authority, CDC, with potential a suspicion of chemical waste in the lake due to various reasons and disposal that would harm these people if they would get in contact with. The photographs and evidence of human teeth mark on flamingo carcasses, and pretty much just look for his input on how he stands on this.
That's more your bag than mine, but there's only one way to stop them going in the water, and that's to stop the DJ. And I think maybe for a second you misunderstand me, but he will correct himself and say by taking the PA rig out.
Right.
If the music stops, the people leave.
Give me spot hidden rolls, please.
In 95 and 91, no.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm not liking these rolls.
Yep.
Both experience a sudden sharp headache, pain in the side of your head, and then you collapse down. Both of you were just snuck up on from behind and smacked hard in the side of the head, and you are lying in a concussed pain on the floor. Your hands are roughly grabbed, thrust behind your back. Reese, your gun is kicked away, and your hands are tied, and you are gagged. And you feel yourselves being pulled along the sand. I just rolled 2 extreme successes on my attacks on them, so they didn't even stand a chance. Edmond and Heather.
Hello.
You don't know any of this is going on at all. You are in Victoria's office, and you're making a plan. What are you doing?
We need to call. You're right.
Heather's going to call in as a mandated reporter. She's a social worker. If she hears anything suggesting abuse or neglect, especially of a child, she is required to call it in. So that is exactly what she's going to do.
So you're calling to report neglect of a child from 10 years ago.
No, I'm calling to report that I am staying at a hotel and that I heard that the security officer, that I overheard that there was an argument between the head security officer and the front desk regarding reports of a neglected child that has been abandoned on the grounds of the resort. Because that's what I read in the emails. Look, law is my literal only skill. I am going to exploit this for all that real life can.
Excellent. So give me a persuade roll. Like, it's not like it's not going to work, but I want to kind of give you a feel.
Here we go. Mother Chucker. That is a 90 on a 60.
A very bored, uninterested woman answers the phone, takes all of the details, assures you that something will be done the moment the sheriff is back in the office, and politely hangs up on you.
I will turn to Ed and say, well, that went about exactly the way I would expect social services in Florida to work, with a lot of underlying contempt.
Yeah. We don't have that much time anyway, because all the people outside, there was some sort of contest announced a while ago.
How much of the DJ announcements can we hear? Yeah, okay, thank you. Haha! Finally, a hard success.
Not a moment too soon.
That's the voice of Victoria coming down the hallway, Heather.
Uh-oh.
We can hide under the desk like children, or we can just confront her.
I mean, there's only one of her.
There's more than one voice.
Can I tell how many with a hard success? Can I get a gauge of like...
There's definitely a male voice as well.
Okay. Okay, this is actually a good question. Given what I have just found on the computer, do I still feel like she's my friend?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know. Okay.
I think you gave her the benefit of the doubt. You gave her the benefit of the doubt. You gave her the benefit of the doubt, but it's pretty obvious now.
Okay. Edmond is going to quickly rush around to the computer and take photos of the emails, just in case. And then if there's time to try and duck into another room, then that's what he will do. But if not, he's ready to kind of stand his ground with Heather.
I will take stealth rolls from both of you.
That old nugget. Oh my god. 6 under 20.
Don't worry, I'm sure I'm about to ruin it. Hey! 23 on a 40.
The tables are
Okay.
turning.
With such great successes, I will give you a choice. You can be hidden inside this room, or you can be hidden inside the next room, and you can hear what's going on in this room.
If we go into the next room, is our only point of egress back through this room?
No, it's like the next office. You'd be back in the corridor.
Maybe the latter then.
I think next room.
You hear two voices, a man and a woman's, and they appear to be carrying something heavy. In fact, I'd say they're probably dragging something. And they're bickering quietly. You can't quite make out of it, but it's Victoria and Nesto. They're arguing and they're pulling these something into the office, and the door slams. Can you both give me listen rolls?
We'll try. Oh, 66. How appropriate.
666. But you're in the next room and you can't quite hear what's going on. You hear the words water, flake. You hear the words get rid of. Not much more.
The office door, is there a window, even if it's frosty, or is it just a plain
Yeah, there's a frosty
door?
window, yeah.
Okay. In terms of like outlines and things like that, what can I see if I get closer?
You're in the next room. You'd have to come out into the corridor to do that. Do you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
Okay, I'll let
Carefully,
that hard
but
stealth. I'll let that hard stealth ride. There are two people moving around, and there is something on the desk. It's quite large. Like if you were imagining it, you might think it was a body, but that's ridiculous.
okay.
Yeah, that's the ridiculous thing we've run into today.
I turn to Heather. Is there a chair or something that was kind of similar height to a chair in the adjacent room that she's still in?
Yes.
Okay. I gesture to her to grab the chair and hook it on. Yeah. I hook it under the door handle.
Okay.
I like this. Okay. You've now locked Victoria, Ernesto, Reese, and Stephen inside the office. Now what?
Okay. 911.
Okay, so you what do you say to the officer?
Okay. So I say that we are at a hotel. We are hiding from perpetrators. They are talking about getting rid of something, possibly someone. There's been talk about people going missing at the lake, drowning. They are covering things up. We need help.
I think Heather is also going to call in. Similar, different context, but same basic thing, so that they're getting two reports.
Okay. Give me a persuade roll.
Okay. I'm going to spend 22 points of luck because seriously.
Okay. The police officer understands your concern and promises you that they'll make sure that police pass by as soon as they are as they are capable of. But it's a very busy Friday night, and so they say that maybe 30 to 40 minutes before a police officer is there.
Hold them in there 30 friggin' minutes.
Welcome to modern day
break.
America.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Welcome to spring break. Yeah.
Yeah, Heather will also call in a 911 call. She will phrase it slightly differently. She will probably again kind of lean on that, like there are abandoned children running around here. There are no lifeguards. Everything's over capacity, and I'm very concerned about the construction of this rickety stage. Please send someone over here immediately, and I will spend the luck to make it succeed.
Okay, so you spend 9 points of luck. Yeah, the police are, well, I'll say to you now, is the police are definitely on their way. However, the door starts rattling. The door won't open. Hey. Hey. The door is rattling harder as Ernesto Sanchez tries to open it. Reese and Stephen, you are coming to your senses. You are tied up. You are in an office. There are loud noises around you. Would either of you like to make some kind of amazing escape attempt at this point in time?
Yes.
Edmond, give me a listen roll. Heather, to you too.
Oh, come on.
5
Did you
points of
say
luck.
we were on the desk?
Stephen's on the desk. You're on the floor.
Okay. Is there anything I can kick?
Yeah.
Like a
Crystal
chair
skull.
or... Yeah.
Potentially knock the closet over. It would
Okay.
slam into Stephen though.
It's fine. Go for it.
I think it's necessary.
I'll spend 3 luck to succeed my roll.
You are sure Stephen's voice, just a muffled voice of Stephen came through there.
Somehow I'd recognize his muffled voice anywhere.
I think he might be from the scream of whatever hits him. I'd still like to knock something over onto him.
Yeah, give me that strength roll.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
You flail meekly at the closet and it does not fall over.
Stephen would
Heather,
try.
Stephen is
literally-
in that office. You're certain of it.
Ed, on my count, pull the chair. And I'm going to kind of listen for whatever rhythm I can come up with, like of Ernesto trying to do this. And I'm going to wait till it sounds like he's maybe about to ram. And then I want to signal Edmond to like gank the chair to try to get him to do that, like slam through and maybe like fall over, knock down.
Ooh, luck roll.
Who do you want to roll?
Group luck roll. Who's lowest luck?
Well, I've got 24 points, so it's probably going to be me.
That's lower than what I currently have.
Okay,
I
then.
like how you're not telling me what your luck is. Hide it
You
from the
can
GM.
see my sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you if you want.
Give me that luck
Yeah.
roll. What do you want to happen here? That's a hard success in the luck roll.
Yeah. So absolutely what Alandra said. Preferably it's Ernesto coming through rather than Victoria, because he's probably going to be a bit more aggressive. So yeah, he'll just be like slamming and like come through on the third one. He yanks away the chair and he just falls flat on his face.
Ideally, if he can hit his head on the opposite wall or something, we'd take
Yeah,
that
or
too.
break his nose or something.
Yeah, and if you want to hit this guy's head, you're going to have to do it yourselves. He comes down, he lands, slams down in front of you onto the ground. He is prone in front of the two of you.
Okay. In that case, Edmond's gonna hold him down, I think,
Fighting brawl.
which he's so wonderful at. Hey! 100.
Heather. You watch Edmond dive in heroically in order to take out this man and just grapple and hold him in place. And it's seconds. It's literally seconds before he is tied up, trussed up, hands behind his back, pinned, and the rope is going around the arms. As you meet Victoria's eyes through the open door, Stephen's like tied up body on the office desk. The closet's now open, with Reese lying in front of it, also tied up, and she is holding Reese's .22 gun. What do?
She's in the room. I'm in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna run. I cannot fight
Where
a
are you
gun.
going? Where are you going?
Whatever direction in the hallway takes me out to the foyer, I want to get as much distance between her and me as possible, and I don't want to get boxed in, so I'm gonna head for like the front doors.
Excellent. Dexterity roll.
Great. That's a fail.
As you are running, you see more staff come in, and it's more security guards. And so you pivot round and you turn and you're still running, and you go out the back door, you pass the pool, and your only direction you can get out is try to get lost in the crowds. And you do so, and you kind of get lost in there, and you start to hear the countdown now. 10, 9, 8. And you kind of like clamber through the crowds, and you sort of find a vague vantage point, and you realize that you've mostly lost them. But then you spot Ernesto. He's like got like a wheelbarrow, and there's like 3 black bags on the wheelbarrow, and he's carrying them down. And a 6, 5, and then he tumbles the 3 bodies still tied up onto the stage just at the edge of all these people. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, and then just all of these people just run in and dive into the water. Hundreds of people running into the lake as Ernesto just kicks Reese, Edmond, and then Stephen's bodies into the water. And you watch 1, 2, 3 plunge into the water. And then you watch as everyone is in the lake for a moment, and then about 40, 50% of them just start swimming towards the center of the lake. You hear cries of mummy and mother and declarations of desire to be with mum and mother. And Edmond, Reese, Stephen, you all feel it as your bodies hit the water. You manage to scramble. You manage to scramble round, and your heads gasp for air, but you are surrounded by it. Can all 3 of you give me power rolls? I'll take a penalty die to Stephen because, yes, because he did feel it before. Reese, you feel it now. You begin squirming. You actually do manage to escape from your ropes as you begin swimming towards the center of the lake to be with the mother. Edmond, you do no such thing. You absolutely manage to resist all of this, and you watch as your friend Stephen looks you in the eyes and then kicks as well as he can towards the center of the lake, all tied up. You remain tied, barely able to breathe, keeping your feet on the ground and just breathing water, dreading as you watch person after person eventually succumb to this, cry out for their mother, and then begin swimming to the center of the lake. Heather, there are 5 or 6 people left of what was a crowd of 1,000. Everyone else has dived into the water. You look out over this thing. No one's paying attention to you now. You're all alone. What do you do?
Oh God, this good team player wants to help. Call of Cthulhu savvy player knows that there's no helping this at this point. I think she's gonna run. I'm gonna head for wherever our vehicles are. And or anything, just get off this property, get as far away from that water as possible. Zigzag pattern. I've watched enough TV to know that you never run in a straight line when there's firearms around.
Right. We could have like this, like we do one of those sort of in media res, sort of like Heather just turns away. You see her kind of getting into Reese's room, scrambling around his stuff, grabbing the car keys, throwing as much of her own stuff into a bag as possible, running down. The car screeches away. She's just driving out of Florida, back home, out of here, just as far away as possible. And we pan back to the lake. And Reese and Stephen, you are reunited with Mother. The mother of this lake. She needs fed to survive. She always needs fed to survive. But she's never really had enough sustenance. It's never been enough people all at once. But Mother used everything she had. She used Victoria and she used Tommy, and she tried her hardest to bring more people to her. And with this feeding and with these thralls, she thrives and she grows and she expands her influence. And Heather, you next hear about the flamingo success, how amazing the spring break was. And the glittering flamingos, they actually become like an overnight success. And you hear that they're building 5, 6, 7, 8 different hotels all across the country. It is expanding and growing and spreading Mother's love all across the world. Thank you very much for joining me this evening for a wonderful game of Call of Cthulhu with Together Again. It was really fun. That's not kind of how I expected it to end. We sort of had to mix and match to make it fit all in the 4 hours, but I really liked how that... Oh, beautiful. Really, really nice. Thank you, everyone. David, when you blackmailed Victoria at the start, I was like, okay, I have the ending. She's going to attack him near the end. I have it down. It was beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're just going to finish off very quickly. What we like to do when we finish a scenario is just kind of go around. I'd like you to say something you liked about the scenario. And then also just remind people of your name and point them towards any socials or anything else you want to tell people about. So David, if you want to do the Illusion HorrorCon thing, you can. So we'll just go back around in the order I see in front of me. So we'll go with Charlie.
What did I like? Obviously, Stephen.
Yes.
That was my favourite part of the whole.
I really liked the fact that they set up these strong character interdependencies. That was nice.
Yeah, it was quite nice. All these different little links between people. Where can you find me? Not many places, really. I'm not really like everybody else. I hang around in the Miskatonic Playhouse. Obviously, your Embers of Humanity, which I help a little bit. And, well, there is something coming up. So if you Google Black Creek Podcasts, there's some little snippets of information pointing towards something later on in the year.
Excellent. And Jayson.
So I am Jayson, also known as Wreathed in Flame on socials like Blue Sky and Discord. Those are the 2 main places you can find me. I do writing for Miskatonic Repository. Hopefully things will be coming out this year. But also I do Like This Beacons with a
I've
couple
never
of
heard of it.
others. Have you not? Well, I mean, we're great friends with you guys at the Playhouse, so you should have heard of us. But yes, you can find us over on all your favorite podcasting platforms, acast.com/like this beacons, and also join our Discord because we're lovely people there.
Brilliant. David.
Yeah, hi, I'm David. You find me on Discord, mostly as Bitbook Chef, and I am one of the organizers and creators of the Illusion Horror and Con, which is a annual horror festival that is online in December. But we currently also have a Spring Con organized by our community with about 40 games of anything from Call of Cthulhu, Cult, Bassin. And the player sign-up is still open, so if you want to play some games from May 2nd to May 4th, go and sign up at all the information you can find on the website, theillusionhorrorcon.events. And yeah, that's from me. Thank you very much for this opportunity to play with the Playhouse and these lovely folks at the table and the fantastic dynamic between us.
Forgot to make Jayson do it. I'll make you do it. What is something you loved about the scenario?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I mean, so much of it. The Triceratops throwing was a huge highlight, but also that climax was so intense. I could really feel the urgency of like every little step that we did. Is it going to be enough? And then obviously in the end it wasn't. But yeah, so much of it was really good. Fantastic scenario.
I also forgot. I really appreciate sandbox scenarios with like enough tidbits that you can kind of explore and venture out, and it doesn't really hinder the flow of the story. You just go along. And I think there were elements that could have gone completely different if we just decided to go in a different room or change the parties. I think the bromance and the rom-com definitely steered a lot of the decision making, but yeah, beautiful sandbox and very well put together.
Excellent. And Alandra.
Tagging on because Stephen said almost what I was going to say. I loved how well the sandbox was constructed, and I appreciated, especially in our version, like I can see how this could easily be run over 2 or 3 sessions or a significantly longer session, but also there's so much good stuff in there that you could shorten it or stretch it depending on how much time you have. And I think that's a really wonderful gift to have as a keeper and also as a player, of that way of being able to fit all your ideas into the scenario and the time that you have. So I'm really excited to put this one in my arsenal for future use. And I am Alandra, aka Lady Bedivere. You can find me at Lady Bedivere on pretty much all your social media. I'm fairly easy to find. I am a regular cast member over on the Quest and Chaos Network, over on Meme of the Month at Majestic Goose Network, and in Midnight from In the Garden of Chrome and Fog on Vandal Lost One's channel. And hopefully under Lady Bedivere, I will have some of my own podcasts coming out sooner than later. Hit me up anywhere if you want to talk about TTRPGs.
Brilliant. And I have been John the Hedge. Mostly you can find me on the Miskatonic Playhouse, but I'm also kind of a big deal over on Blue Sky. So if you want to hit me up there, do so. Also, I wrote something called Embers of Humanity, which I'm super proud of, and we're putting a great community around. So if you like post-apocalyptic role-playing, come and talk to me. Thank you for joining us here at the Miskatonic Playhouse. It has been a pleasure playing with you all. Please stay out of the water.